All right, there we go. All right, hey guys, Zomb Phox here, and it is time for the Tank Bowl in a bit. Of course, right now we are going to be keeping up with the end of the Defenders versus the Renegades battle. This has been an insane game. It is 33 to 22. This is one of the highest scoring games in UFL history, and especially this season. We just saw a huge hurdle by the Defenders. I mean, my goodness. This has been an insane game so far. Of course, both this game and the game after this are going to be on ESPN. This is insane. I will say, between yesterday's Panthers, Battlehawks, and this game, what I said a couple weeks ago is so true. There's no real number one team because even Arlington, it's just every team in like the top 6 could beat any of them like on any given day. It's insane. So, power ranking is going to change a lot again, but what a game so far. Again, we got about 7 minutes and 20 seconds left. Arlington is ahead by 11 points, but DC is about 2 yards away from the end zone. Let's see what they can do here. Snap it, they hand it off to Smith, who runs up the middle. And Teamo keeps it, and he gets the touchdown. They scored. It is right back in it. Oh, man, how about that? What a game. This is a game so far. I mean, it's insane. This definitely is a wild one so far. I mean, I've got like so many. This is when I really wish I had like another monitor because man, I've got like so many things open on my screen right now. It's actually insane. But hey, we ball, baby. And they just scored a touchdown. They can make this a field goal game depending on what they do here on the extra point. They are going for 2 to make it a field goal ties. The parity of this league has gotten so much stronger this year. Oh, for sure. I mean, this is the best it's been since 2023's USFL season for sure. Teamo is in shotgun, one man to his right in the backfield with him. Ball is snapped, looks to the left, throws it over the middle. It is going to be caught for a completion. It is now a 3-point game. My goodness. Absolutely insane. I mean, really, absolutely insane right now. What a game. Just talked about a game of the year, that's for sure. This has been an insane game, that's for sure. Okay, well, while we're in this little break of commercial, let's put up a couple of polls, okay, since we're still in this one, right? Okay. Because, of course, you have the Tank Bowl coming up after this, but let me put up this poll. DC, Houston, Arlington, and SA. So, who wins both this game and the next one? Let's see what you all pick. So, there's your poll. We got the 4 Mapes you can. Best week of the UFL, for sure. Every game has been just incredible this week, pretty much. I still preferred Fridays to both this one and yesterday's, but that's just because of how crazy it was seeing that upset happen. But overall, these 3 games you could easily argue have been the 3 best of the entire season. And if that doesn't show that it's been great, I don't know what does. It's been insane. So again, Arlington has a 3-point lead. We're going to cover this game till it ends. If it goes to OT, we'll still cover it, and then we'll be going to the first Tank Bowl of the season. This is Tank Bowl 4 in the UFL's history. This one is between the Roughnecks and the Brahmas. So it'll be a fun one. That's for sure. Okay, that's why I'm not using that, because it literally covers up the whole thing. I got to post this on X that I'm live right now. Post that. It's been a game. It's been insane. Quinn Ewers got drafted. Of course, we saw Shedeur Sanders did end up getting drafted. It happened after the Showboats got a win, but we did see that happen. Hey, G-Man's got to show up because that was insane for sure, dude. The Showboats actually getting the W was insane. Does that mean the UFL should have a bit longer practice session? I would honestly say yes. Like, a lot of it comes down to getting players ready for the NFL, and that's kind of the issue why they don't want to do so much practicing stuff. But, like, we saw, especially with, like, DC and San Antonio. Well, San Antonio's more coaching, but, like, DC's looked a lot different than the first couple weeks of the season. Yeah. The offenses have gotten a lot better than the season. Oh, that's for sure. I mean, this week's been great. Even with 2 new starting quarterbacks in the Friday night game, it's been insane. Iowa State, Will Howard got drafted by the Steelers. I didn't end up seeing that. I saw a lot of people were shocked that they drafted him, not Shedeur at that point. Yeah, I believe that was at that point, and then Shedeur got taken. But that was definitely something to see. I will say about yesterday's game, I think we can all agree that the Panthers should only be playing Bryce Perkins. That Danny Etling drive, you could very much argue, single-handedly cost the team the game, because that ended up being a massive swing. If they would have scored in that drive with Perkins, instead they gave up a pick and then ended up allowing a touchdown and just completely screwed him over, and then the Battlehawks ended up winning in the end. Like, Danny Etling's just not good enough. He's so insanely mid. He's not going to win anything. It's aggravating because the Panthers, with Perkins as the starter, you could argue the second best team in the league. With Etling as the starter, they're probably like 6th or 7th. Rudolph's got the benefit of being around that team for a while. I know he wasn't recently, but he's got that benefit, but definitely got the potential QB2. Let's be honest, he's not even competing for the starting job. Rodgers is going to sign there. It's just a matter of when he wants to. But it's a matter of just beating out Skylar Thompson, which I think he will. And then he'll get the QB3 spot. He'll fight with Rudolph during the season, eventually get QB2, and then Rodgers the starter. Is Birmingham cooked? It was one game, but it was a rougher game. Like, the power rankings at this moment, if let's say this score holds, Arlington 1, DC probably 2, or St. Louis. Then, like, 4 and 5 would be, like, Michigan, Birmingham. And then, well, San Antonio might jump up. We'll see. We'll see how San Antonio plays. Weird throw by Perez to the right, but he gets caught for about a 1-yard loss. Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a lot more players go to the UFL when you got another 2 teams, obviously. It's just a matter of how many more big players, especially because of the pay raise. You know, it's not like it was a ton, but a near 10K increase is still a near 10K increase. That could be the one that, you know, makes some people go up there, so we'll see. Sal Canella. Nearly fumbled again earlier. That was wild. All right, Perez isn't shotgun. 1 man to his right in the backfield. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Ball is snapped. Looks to his left. Throws it. Is going to be caught. Gets up to about the 38-9 yard line. Might be a first down with forward progress. Going to call it 3rd down initially, but let's see. Again, there's about 6 minutes left. We're going to stick around this game till it's over because, of course, this is such a major matchup. Whoever wins this is number 1 in the XFL Conference. Again, if you're the Battlehawks, you're probably hoping that DC loses this one just because of the fact that you can beat Arlington. I don't know. It's a tough call. You probably want Arlington to win. I don't know. It's tough, but you'll see. Did call it a first down, so it's going to be 1st and 10. And it looks like Shannon Harris is going to challenge the spot on this one. This might be a bit of a weird decision because this is in debatable 4-down territory. Not the biggest fan of this challenge here. He saved it earlier, which he would have gotten it because it wasn't going to really do much. This isn't going to do much for him either. Not a huge fan of this call right here by Shannon Harris. Memphis 7 and Houston 8, depends on power rankings. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how the Houston-San Antonio game goes for sure, because Memphis did get the upset, but it was an OT upset. They nearly choked. BM fans are pissed at the refs. Hey, let them be. They got a free win against Arlington, bro. Like, come on. Like, so, I mean, like, yesterday people were complaining about the officiating in the Panthers-Battlehawks game. Like, it wasn't bad on both sides. Like, you had the roughing the passer call, which was a very debatable call, and then you had the DPI that wasn't called against the Battlehawks. I mean, it was just like a poorly officiated game, but it was for both teams. I didn't really feel like one team got favored over the other in that one. I don't know what Panthers or Battlehawks fans are yapping about with that one. They hand it off to Ballard, who goes up the middle, and he gets stopped about a 3-yard loss. Shador Sanders getting a prank call. That was hilarious. That was wild to see. What a game. I mean, this weekend has been great football. Hopefully we get some good TV ratings, because I know Hakeem Butler was trending on Twitter yesterday, which is only the second time this season we've seen that happen. So that was great to see. Hand it off to Ballage again, who runs up the middle. He breaks 3, and he fumbles the ball! Does DC get it? DC gets the fumble, it looks like. They're going to have a shot to get the lead here. Depends. Did Ballage get it back? Yes, they did. DC got it. DC has the ball at about the 50-yard line. I did not see Shiloh getting signed or whatever to the Buccaneers. I did not see that one. All game of the year, holy punt. What a play. That is bad if you're Arlington. That was a bad fumble. And then he tried to get it. Dude, DC almost choked that one away getting that fumble, but let's see this. Showing the replay here. Runs up, still on his feet, and he just drops it. Man, what a shock right there. Look at that. They had like 4 guys. They almost missed it, but he was able to get the fumble. That's huge for the defenders right there. That ain't good for the Renegades right there. Now, I will say this. For DC, it's a bit of a blessing and a curse, because you still got to eat up a lot of this clock. Smith runs to the left, and he gets tackled for like a 3-yard loss. Abram Smith, again, it's another game. He just hasn't been his old self in this game. But as for DC here, it's a bit of a... You are glad you got the ball, obviously, but because of where you are, you're going to have to do a very slow drive here. Try and eat up those timeouts, either force another OT game this season or win off a walk-off touchdown. You do not want to give the Renegades the ball at all. That's why that run call was a bit of a sketchy one, especially with how Smith has been all year. Not a fan of that play call. Teamu is in shotgun, 3 receivers to his right, running back to his right in the backfield with him. Looks to throw over the middle. He's going to throw a deep shot to the right. It's going to be intercepted by Ajeen Harris. He gets returned to the 20-yard line. And he slides at the 20. Jordan Teamu, the guy that so many people claimed was this elite QB this year, throwing a throw that was not elite right there. What a bad throw by Teamu. That's a bad one. Great play by Ajeen Harris, though. Incredible. I have no words. Again. I mean, man, 4 minutes left, so DC still's got a shot to get the ball back. You know, I guess they ended up gaining like 25-ish yards on field position, but that's about it. Look at this replay. That was a bad throw by Teamu. Again, he just underthrew that one. That should have been a touchdown for Roll, and that's on Teamu fully. That was just a bad throw. Sub G, man. Nice to see you here after your team got the W this past weekend. Or past weekend, 2 days ago, which we saw was incredible to actually see them pull that one off. I mean, especially after it looked like they were choking. That was insane. This game's got a lot of chaos, that's for sure. Perez is in shotgun. Ball is snapped. Hands it off. Runs up the middle, gets about 3.5 yards. Talk about baiting the throw. I mean, it's not baiting the throw if the QB completely whiffs the throw, because that was a free touchdown and he just underthrew it by like 5 yards. 2nd and 7. Again, DC has to get a stop on this sequence or the next one to have a real shot at trying to tie or win this game. So let's see. Perez is in shotgun. 1 man to his left in the backfield with him. Motioning 1 receiver from the left to the right. Ball is snapped. Fake a couple of handoffs. Throw a little quick screen to Canella, who gets tackled immediately for about a 3-yard loss. Huge play by the DC defense. Great stop by Joseph there. Going to force about a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 right there. Ajeen Harris. I will say I'm debating on making an MVP ranking video this week as one of my extra videos along with the Tank Bowl vid. A couple of defenders might make that list. They might be from the Renegades because Odom and Harris have been insane this season. So I might mention one of them in that video. 3rd and 10. They're in 5 wide. Perez is in shotgun. Looks over the middle of the field. Looks to the right. He's getting pressured. He gets sacked. A massive 7.5-yard loss for the Renegades. Huge play by DC's defense once again. Trying to bail out Teamu on that bad interception. the defenders will have another shot to win this. Just like last week in San Antonio, they had a couple of shots and they failed on all of them. Can they convert this time? They will get at least one more shot to try and win this game or tie this game and force the second ever OT game. Look at that. Just runs right up there. Oh, that's what you love to see if you're a pass rusher. Just everybody collapsing on it. Oh, that might be roughing. I don't think so, but it might be. Return is at the 40. The 45. Looks like it is going to be roughing the kicker there. Lots of games have been good. Yeah, this week has been the best week of UFL football, maybe even ever, because this is 3 for 3 great games. Let's see. Running into the kicker. Penalty is declined. So let's see what DC can do here. Yeah, running into his leg right there. Yeah, and they declined it because they're running into the kicker is only like a 5-yard penalty. It's not like it's a 15-yard or something huge, not an automatic first down. So it's just not really worth doing it at that point. So yeah. Ooh, it sounds like they want to re-kick. Let's see. Stoops is trying to find out where exactly the ball is spotted. He is going to re-kick this. Again, we will be going to the Tank Bowl once this game is over. This game just matters too much to not cover the end of it. We are basically at the 2-minute warning, though. Of course, the Brahmas game has started or is about to start in a couple of minutes. That is also on ESPN/ESPN Plus for those of you who want to put that on as well as watch the stream. So again, they're going to re-punt this ball. It's going to force the 2-minute warning. As well, you might not have said it, that might be part of the reason to do this. You're actually getting rid of one play for DC, because DC would have been able to make one play, then automatically get the 2-point or get the 2-minute warning. Instead, it's going to be forced now. So that is also another reason to re-kick this. This is a good decision by Bob Stoops. If they get a big return, then that's on the coverage team. As for a head coach, this is the right call to re-kick this, force the 2-minute warning out. Punt is up. It is going to the 40-yard line. Return to the 45, the 50, the 45, and the defenders get it at the 45-yard line in Renegades territory. Is it the lack of short training camp till weeks 4 or 5 better play? Pretty much. I think everybody's realizing that the fact that these camps were so short, especially not having the quarterbacks at that little QB weekend thing, has really started to show in the first few weeks of the season. When the defenses all get better, but the offenses only get slightly better, because that did happen. A lot more of the offenses stayed relatively similar to last season than the defenses. Like the Showboats overhauled defense, the Renegades added a bunch of pieces, the Defenders added a bunch of pieces. Whereas a lot of the offenses are more like a couple of guys here or there. So you add a fully overhauled defense that gets better, whereas the offense gets slightly better but still changes, and they're not used to working all the well together. Because like the Brahmas, it's clear AJ Smith, at least through 2 weeks, was the problem. We'll see for sure today. If the Brahmas continue to have a good offensive showing, then we know it was really AJ Smith's fault the offense wasn't great. But the Roughnecks, that's on CJ. Anthony Brown was the weakest quarterback. He was like Garantano last year, yet he was the starter. We're now at QB3, who looks to be the best quarterback. But as for the other teams, it's definitely that. Because the Renegades offense the first couple of weeks looked really rough, outside of week 1, obviously. Like weeks 2 and 3, it was just a rough performance. Even last week, they weren't great. Whereas this week, they've been really solid. So it's definitely that. I think that's why some people want either legit preseason games or just more practice, is because of how sloppy the play is the first couple weeks of the season. Again, for those of you joining us now, we are going to be covering the end of the Defenders Renegades game. We are at the 2-minute warning. It is a 3-point game with Arlington having the lead. DC has the ball with a chance to tie or win this game. Once this game is over, we will go to the Tank Bowl, the 4th Tank Bowl in UFL history, the first of the season between the Roughnecks and the Brahmas, who are both 1 and 3. So as for this game, it's been an insane one. It seems like two teams that are trying to not win. I mean, it's just mistakes by both teams. If a play here or there would have gone another way, it would have been different. The bad interception by Teamu was a rough one to see. Then the Renegades not really doing anything off the interception was bad to see. It's been one of those kind of games recently, but overall this weekend's been great football. Hopefully the Tank Bowl continues that. We get 4 for 4 great games. It's pretty easy to say so far all 3 of these games would be A-tier games if they were put in a tier list. You could even argue that all 3 of them would be S-tier games because they've just all been incredible games. But yeah, I mean, this game obviously matters a ton because whoever wins this will be the heavy favorite to win the XFL conference since they will have a full game ahead, just overall record, and will have a lead in the head-to-head record, so it's a big deal. Yeah, yesterday's game was a really good one, too. Aggravating that Mike Nolan still doesn't realize that what everybody else does. I mean, you've had multiple opponents say that they were happy to see Danny Etling come in, and when you're seeing that being said publicly, that's not a good thing. So, yeah. Again, 1 minute and 53 seconds left. Due to Stoops having the kick be redone, it forced the 2-minute warning out, so DC only has 2 timeouts left. But remember, the clock stops on first downs until the chains are moved, so you do have a bit more time compared to like the NFL. It's like college rules. And they only have to go about 45 yards to score a touchdown, and they only need a field goal to tie it, but they have to eat this clock. They cannot let Arlington get the ball again unless it's by DC scoring a touchdown first. Fake the handoff, quick throw to the left, it's caught, goes out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. That is a very poor decision by Roland there. You needed to keep milking this clock. You're not like back at your own 20. You're already in Arlington territory. You need to use time effectively. That was not the best decision there by Roland. He should have just gone down inbounds or something. Let's see what they do here on second down. It's going to be about 2nd and 5. Ball is snapped, handed off in the middle, and it's going to be a 0-yard gain, going to be stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. The ground game for DC, like this season, has been a tale of just a not great unit. They've had like a couple of plays here and there, but overall not great. And it looks like Arlington is going to take a timeout. Again, I'm not fully against this timeout here because of 3-point, a field goal. If you're Arlington, you want to have time yourself. That's why I'm saying DC needs to milk this clock. So let's do it here. Talking about how the announcers are not a fan of Stoops calling the timeout there. I'm fine with that because now you're pretty much forcing DC to really throw this to try and get a first down because I don't know getting 2 yards is really going to do a ton for them, but we'll see. Glad they're getting better. Will be more fun when I watch them back this week. Yeah, I mean, these games have been really good, especially the Memphis-Birmingham. That was a fun game. 3rd and 5 for the defenders. This is a massive play. They get this. They can keep this clock moving. They can try to get a touchdown to win this game, or obviously just a field goal to tie it. Let's see what they do here at 3rd and 5. In theory, you either run it with Teamu or you throw it. Your ground game has not been great all season, and it hasn't been reliable today. But let's see. They got 1 running back to his left in the backfield, 2 receivers to his left, and 2 to his right. $60-point game so far is insane. Ball is snapped, looks to the right. Going to quick throw it. It's going to be caught for a first down. He's still up. He's at the 30, the 25, the 20. He gets tackled at about the 16-yard line. Massive gain for DC. Now they need to milk this clock. Do not call a play and snap it with anything over 1 minute 20. Well, it depends obviously when the clock starts going. Wow, they snap it really quick. They quick throw it to the right. It's a screen pass to Roland at the 10. Gets out of bounds, but there is a flag. Let's see what this flag is. Those games can help with the ratings for sure, especially when you see guys trending on Twitter, people are watching it. They were able to get the defense with too many men on the field. Great play by the DC defenders offense right there, forcing that penalty. Now, this is where it gets a bit sketchy. You cannot keep doing quick plays. If you allow even 30 seconds on the clock, that is way more than enough time for Arlington to get into field goal range. Again, if you score a touchdown and get the extra point, that doesn't matter, but you have to get the extra point. If you're DC, you need to milk this clock. You're able to get a first down. That's what you need to do. Do not go for the end zone unless obviously you are gifted it, then sure, but let's see what they do here. Still calling the play. Again, 1 minute 30. Arlington has 1 timeout left. Because of the college rules being in the league, even 30 seconds can get you into field goal range easily. You have to score a touchdown and an extra point. If you get an extra point, doesn't matter when you score, but if you don't get it and you only are up by 3, you do not want Arlington to have any time on the clock to try and tie it themselves. So this is 1st and 5. Here, I would say a play action pass would be a good one. They're probably expecting a run here. Do a play action pass. Just do a little quick one. Try to gain a couple yards. Maybe even get a first down, which, again, not going to eat up too much clock. But again, a touchdown is a touchdown. Let's see what they do. Te'amu is in shotgun. One man to his left. 2 receivers to his right. 2 to his left. Te'amu might be calling an audible here, motioning to his receivers on the right a little bit. Ball is snapped, and it's just a straight pass. Throws it to the deep side of the end zone. It is incomplete. Yeah, but in that scenario, an overthrow is okay. You'd rather overthrow than underthrow it. With that being said, again, not a fan of trying to keep time on the clock. You need to just eat this clock. An incomplete pass hurts you. 3rd and 1, get the first down. That's what you need to do. Yeah, DC should definitely go for 1, because going for 2 really does nothing for them. They just need to score any sort of extra point. So if they have a good play for it at the 2-yard line, just do that one. Ball is snapped. Te'amu keeps it. He gets the first down, and he gets tackled at about the 1.5-yard line. This is huge for them. Again, let's see what they do here. Do you just straight run it in the middle? Do you try to do some sort of sneaky thing? You cannot turn the ball over here. You are just 1.5 yards away from the end zone. Let's see what DC does here. Again, use this clock up as much as you can. You are officially at the point where you should not be trying to save even a second on the clock. Snap this ball with a maximum of 2 seconds left on the play clock here. Let's see. Te'amu's in shotgun. He's got 2 guys to his right, 1 behind him. Hands it off, runs up the middle. It is a touchdown for DC. DC has a 3-point lead with under a minute left to play. Arlington has 1 timeout left in 57 seconds. DC has to get an extra point. If they don't, there is a high likelihood this game goes to OT. This matters a ton. Does DC get the extra point? We have seen routinely this season teams win and lose games because of the extra point. Let's see if DC can get this one. Showing the replay, Jackson just gets a free wide open lane. The defender had to choose between 2 lanes. Didn't make a choice, and he ended up going for him too late. Again, we will be going to the Tank Bowl once this game is over. The Tank Bowl has been going on for a couple minutes now. They are going for 1 point. Te'amu is in shotgun. Ball is snapped. They do the same play, but Te'amu keeps it, and he gets it. It is good. Arlington has to score a touchdown to win this game. They cannot score a field goal. They need a touchdown with only 1 timeout left and just about a minute left on the clock. Huge play for the DC defenders right there. That is massive for DC right there. That is a huge play right there for that man. How about that? That's actually insane right there. What a game. I'm trying to see what Mike Mitchell tweeted. I haven't seen any sort of thing about attendance. I'm trying to find out what it is. I've just been focused on this game for a bit. 9,500. Okay. Especially when you consider the early start time. Man, what a game. This has been a game so far. Kickoff is up. It is going to be a touchback. No return for this one. What a game so far. Alright, so we're going to close the poll now. Had that poll open for a bit on who was going to win the 2 games. So let's end that one, though. Is this the first year where there really isn't a clear best team? I would say so, because even the 2023 USFL is the only league that rivals this season for you cannot pick anything during the season. But that year, we still knew Birmingham was the best team in the league once they beat New Orleans like the second time, really even the first time. But this year, there really is no clear best team. Ball is snapped. Perez drops back. Throws it to the right. It is going to be batted down. Huge play by the DC defense. But yeah, there is no clear best team, because even if Arlington pulls off this win, it's another win that they got, which was a nail-biter victory, which is not an insanely impressive type of win. It's not like you dominated your opponent. DC winning this game, they stay at 1, but they did just lose to San Antonio, and they kept this one really close. There is no clear-cut number 1 team, which is great for the league, as there's no team that is like the Dragon you have to slay. But let's see what the Arlington Renegades do here on 2nd and 10 with 53 seconds left. Ball is snapped. Perez drops back to throw. Rolling up. He gets sacked for a 3-yard loss. The DC defense with another huge play on defense. The Renegades have 2 plays to get a first down here. Again, they need a touchdown. The clock is winding down. They're at 33 seconds left. Timeout had to have been called by Arlington there. Man, this is insane. What an ending to this game. I mean, my gosh. I barely, when I did my game picks, I barely predicted that DC and this team would score 40 points combined. The over-under was like 39.5. I was like, I think 40 points going to be scored. This game, we have 70 points scored in this game. That is insane. For a UFL game, my gosh, especially this season, this is insane. Again, 3rd and 13 for the Renegades. They need a first down. That matters more than a touchdown, because if you don't get a first down, you ain't going to have a shot at winning it unless you do get lucky on a Hail Mary. So let's see what they do here on 3rd and 13. Perez is in shotgun. Three receivers to his right. Ball is snapped. Looks to the left. Looks to the middle of the field. Looks to the right. Ball is thrown. It is going to be caught for a first down and out of bounds. Clock stops. Is this better than the XFL Championship game? Oh, yeah. I mean, the XFL Championship game wasn't even a good game. Like, that entire XFL postseason was like 3, not blowouts, but like games you knew about 10 minutes in who was going to win. But, I mean, this game has been far better than the XFL Championship game back in 2023. I'm assuming you're talking about the 2023 actual championship game, not like the conference championship last year. So, yeah, this has been way better than that one for sure. Perez is in shotgun. They still have over 40 yards to go to get to the end zone, but they got 30 seconds left. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Running back to the right with Perez in the backfield. Ball is snapped. Looks over the middle of the field. Rolling out to his right. Looking for a deep throw over the middle. He's going to just run for it, and he gets about a 1.5 yard loss on the play, but he gets out of bounds. About 8 seconds on the clock. We got about 25 seconds left in the game. Arlington has to score a touchdown with 25 seconds left. No timeouts. They cannot afford to have any play be down in the middle of the field before the 1st yard or the first down marker. If they do that, it's going to eat up so much clock. Every play has to be a first down unless it's an incompletion. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Running back to the right once again. Let's see what you do here. Ball is snapped. Bit of a high snap. Perez looks over to the left. He's going to throw a bit of a deep pass. It is incomplete. He just wasn't looking for it. What a weird sequence there. It is going to be 3rd and 12. Arlington has now 2 plays once again to get at least a first down. They are still so far away from the end zone. But again, all you need is 1 deep touchdown shot. Important what-ifs to know. If Arlington scores and only goes for 1, it's still a field goal game. If you get a big return and you have a timeout, pending on when they score, you might be able to get a field goal opportunity if you're DC. That is just something to keep in mind. The odds are low, but they are there. Perez gets the snap, looks to the left. He's going to quick throw it out to the left. It is going to be caught for a first down. The clock will stop while the chains move. They have to get a spike immediately unless they call him out of bounds, which they shouldn't. Looks like they might be calling him out of bounds. It's a bit weird, but let's see. 15 seconds left in the game. They are still over 30 yards away from the end zone. They need to score something big here. They only got about 3 real end zone shots, maybe 4. Let's see what they do here. President shotgun, 3 receivers to the right, 1 running back to his left in the backfield with him, and 1 receiver to his left. Ball snap. Looks over to the middle of the field. He's throwing a bit of a deep shot. He gets hit, and it's intercepted by the defenders. The defenders pull off the win, 37-33 on the interception. It looked like the ball got tipped or he got hit as he threw. The DC Defenders are up to 4-1 on the regular season. They remain the best team in the league with this victory. What a play for DC. What a win for them in what was another incredible game. But remember, we still are here for the main event. This was just the entree. Or not the entree, this is the appetizer. We have the main event. We have the Tank Bowl coming up after this one. So time to put that Tank Bowl on. Let me go put that one on. Oh my goodness. Let me just make sure, let's just make sure this game does end. There's no funny business going on. Make sure no random thing happens. Just trying to make sure it is over, in fact, before we put on the San Antonio-Houston game. Yep, it is. So time to put on the main event of this stream. Let me go over here. I put up the wrong tab. Let me go over here. I put up the wrong tab again. There we go. Go back over here, scroll down, and we have the game here. There is currently a 3-0 lead, Houston over the Brahmas. As for the matchup and the overall stats and all that, let's see. Jalen McClendon, oh, that's team leaders. That's not what we wanted to see. Okay, well, they're not showing it. The point is, though, the Roughnecks have the lead. I will pull up the stats in a second. As of now, Jalen McClendon is 3 of 4 for 21 yards. Kellen Mond is 0 of 1 on his passes. Okay, so that's that. Now we're time for the main event. DC got the win in an incredible game. How about that one? Mond is 1 of 2 now. Yeah, horrible way to end the game, that's for sure. Insane game. Can't believe that the DC Defenders ended up pulling off that win. And dude, it felt like it was an upset. So many people picked Arlington. I said, nah. I said, hold up, wait a minute. They're going to get it. And that does mean, if I remember correctly, there is a Houston Roughnecks defender down right now. That's why I'm still talking about this. I did get another perfect betting prediction on that one. I picked DC to win outright despite them being underdogs. So that puts me at a solid 5 of 9 so far. Going 3 for 3 on the DC game. We take those, we take those. So post that up on Twitter while we're still here. Yep, they're just talking about, they're just introducing us from the previous one. Insane. Can't believe Arlington ended up choking that game, man. Power rankings are going to be so difficult to make this season, or this week. Like, seriously, you could argue so many teams could go so many places after how this has gone. Like, it's actually wild, but what a game. So it is time for the Tank Bowl between the Roughnecks and the Brahmas. We are about halfway into the first quarter. It is 3rd and 8 for San Antonio. The Roughnecks are leading 3-0 with Jalen McClendon as the starter, and of course, Kellen Mond is the starter for the Brahmas. Tank Bowl, baby. Yes, sir, Mole. Could DC win the whole thing? They could. If they can, I mean, Teamu wasn't incredible in this game, but he made a couple of big throws, but man, it's been something else. Again, this is the first home game for the Brahmas. This game, Lucas, you can watch it on either ESPN or ESPN Plus. Those are the two places to watch this game right now. 3rd and 8 for the Brahmas. 3 receivers to the left. Ball is snapped. Looks over in the middle of the field. Looks to the left. He gets sacked almost immediately. Huge play for the Roughnecks defense. Going to be forcing a punt for San Antonio. And it looks like they're trying to say it might be a fumble. What number? It's just on ESPN Plus. If you just go to ESPN Plus, it should be there. Just under Roughnecks versus Brahmas. I have 111 options. Oh, man. If that's on cable, I don't know what one that is. The streaming service. That's actually insane. I'm lucky. I've got, like, my streaming service list is, like, about, like, 10-ish rows, but I know where all of them are. I'm just lucky to have that. But yeah, ESPN Plus would be in the ESPN app. Let me make sure I got that still on. Yes, we do. Okay, good. It's still working right? Yes. Okay, making sure everything's still good. Again, the Brahmas are going to be punting this ball away. 4th and 16. Man, what a crazy game we just saw the ending of. That's actually insane. I will say, I can't believe DC ended up winning that game. It felt like they were going to lose. When Teamu threw that interception at the end, near the end, I thought it was over. False start on the Brahmas. They lose 5 yards. Again, so far, 3 for 3 incredible games this weekend. Now, is it going to suck making power rankings this week? Oh, yeah, because it's so difficult to determine where I'm going to put certain teams because of how they win, loss, and all that. But let's see. Punt is up for the Brahmas. It is going to be a pretty solid punt, but it goes out of bounds at about the 37-ish yard line. Man, I can't believe DC ended up pulling that one off. 3-0 Houston over San Antonio. Let's see what McClendon can do in his second drive and the first one with, after us, of course, putting on the game. Man, what an insane thing. Okay, well, now we're in a commercial break. Let's look at some other sports like we always do. Knicks-Pistons game is going on. Minnesota's up 2-1 over the Lakers. That's hilarious. Golden State did win last night. That's what we love to see. Don't want to see the Rockets move on. Blues are going to win this game against the Jets. Shocking. Like, actually shocking. Nothing else really that shocking. PGA. Let's see who's winning the Zurich right now. Novak and Griffin are still leading by a pretty wide margin. The Hojgaard twins are up there. Having a pretty decent round so far. McIlroy and Lowry. Ooh, they threw 9. Oh, they're all playing. Okay, never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. Or no, I wasn't. I don't know. I'm not used to the PGA site, honestly, but... Yeah, I see. Okay, I got what's going on now. If San Antonio wins, pretty much any XFL Conference team have a chance to make the playoffs. Oh, that is true. I mean, that's for sure true. At this point, you would imagine... I mean, never say never, but at this point, it's basically DC and then somebody else. Because if San Antonio pulls this win off, it can start a real thing of they could make it. Because of how team matchups play with who they have left, it's possible anyone could. Like, DC still could miss out on it, but odds are they should be fine. Now, speaking of that side, on the other side, if Houston wins this game, the USFL is wide open. Because of the fact that both the Stallions and Panthers lost, you don't have a one-loss team in that conference now. So even though Memphis just got their first win, they're only a couple games behind because of the fact that the other two teams are 3-2. So 1-4 ain't looking too bad now if you end up going, 3-2, or more importantly, or more expectedly, 4-1 is what you really need to do. So yeah, pretty much whoever wins this game means that all 4 teams in that conference are really in it. The vice versa side of that, whoever loses this game, this is pretty much the playoff eliminator game. That's why the first possible tank bowl we could have done in like week 2 or week 3 I didn't do because that was too early. At this point in the season, a tank bowl should be the 2 worst teams in the league or basically a playoff eliminator game. And this essentially is. Whoever loses this game is just going to be so far back from everyone else, it's just impossible to make a run. Yes, you could go 5-0, finish 6-4, and make the playoffs. But just because you could doesn't mean you will. So, I don't see that happening. Sup, T-Dog? That Defenders-Renegades game was insane. It was the highest scoring game this season. I don't know about last year, but I don't think so. It was insane. Teamu looked to throw a game-losing interception in classic Teamu fashion. It was a horrid underthrow. And then the Renegades didn't do anything. And then Teamu, the ground game, they just made one last-ditch effort to get a drive to score a touchdown. And they held on defense with a couple of huge plays, and they got the W. Insane game. That was an incredible game. So far, 3 for 3 on great games this weekend. Let's see if we can make it 4 at the Tank Bowl. McClendon is in 1st and 10. He's in shotgun by himself. 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right. Ball is snapped. Looks over to the left, looks over the middle of the field. Gonna throw it, a quick little throw. It's going to be caught for about a 6-yard gain. Solid play by by McClendon right there. I mean, dude, it was great. The first game, you had OT game between 2 teams you never expected to be close. Then you had the Panthers Battlehawks game, and just like their first matchup last year, it was down to the wire, insanely tightly contested game. And just like that one, all the drama. Then today's game between the Defenders Renegades, just a shootout, like a real shootout. Now we got this one. Handoff, nice spin move by the Roughnecks there, and they get the first down on the run past the 50-yard line to about the 47-yard line after the incredible spin move by White. Overall thoughts of the Panthers Battlehawks game. Panthers and Battlehawks fans crying about the officiating, I don't get. I thought there were clear missed calls against both teams. The roughing the passer call I thought was weak. I thought there should have been a DPI on the Battlehawks late in the game, and there's a lot of plays like that for both teams. I think both teams equally got hosed by the refs. As for Etling, bro's washed. He almost cost the team the game. I would say did, but Hakeem Butler, that receiving touchdown at the end was insane. McClendon rolls to the right. He's got two guys with him. He just throws it deep. Oh my God, did he catch that? They're calling that incomplete. If that's a completion, that is the best throw of the season. If that is a catch, that's insane. Before I go back to the Panthers stuff, let's see this replay. Because if this is a good catch, that is insane. And don't forget about the 120 yards he had on those two receptions. I mean, that's the insane stat. He really had like that Randy Moss stat line almost. Ooh, that's close. Looks like his left foot was out of bounds. That was almost insane. But yeah, the Panthers Battlehawks game, it's one of those things where it's aggravating as just a UFL fan because it's like, dude, Bryce Perkins is the best quarterback in the league. Why do you keep benching him for Danny Midling? Because the one drive you have him fully play, he throws an interception, which then leads to a touchdown for St. Louis, which put the Panthers in that hole they had to dig out of. Aggravating. And while that was awful, the Panthers lost the game, and the Battlehawks won the game on that receiver trick play pass. That's what won them the game. That was an incredible trick play. Hakeem Butler got the insane reception. It was an incredible throw. And touchdown, that was what really ended the game. That was insane. Great game. Didn't get to watch all of it, as you guys who follow me on Twitter know, I was without power for about 4 hours yesterday. So I was just sitting there having to go to McDonald's because I couldn't watch on my computer, which is where I normally use ESPN because my phone barely works with ESPN Plus, but I watched most of it. Yeah, the Etling situation, it's so aggravating because Mike Bell interviewed Nolan and basically talked about the fact that they are undefeated when they only roll out with Perkins, and it sounds like Nolan is still thinking about playing Etling, which is insane. McClendon fakes the handoff, rolls out to the left, throws a nice little pass, gets the first down, gets to the 30-yard line. Great play by the Roughnecks. See, this is what I love to see. This is why I love McClendon at quarterback. This is not an impressive throw in a sense of, oh man, look at that tightly contested throw. He saw the man who was wide open. It was the correct read. Just a solid play. Great throw. Great catch. Yeah, power went out at 7-ish. I was literally taking a shower and my light just shut off and I'm like, okay, great. And then it was gone for 4 hours. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Throw it to the left. It is going to be caught. It gets out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. The entire central NC area, at least I know Raleigh NC was really out of power too. There was a lot of places in NC that went out of power yesterday. It was insane. Yeah, because when Mike Bell asked the question, he asked about the 2 QB system, and he didn't say he's going to play him, but he didn't not say he's going to play him. It's not like when CJ Johnson said, you know what, I'm going to roll with Henderson. No, he just made it ambiguous, which is insane to me. Because the Panthers with Perkins at quarterback are probably the second or third best team in the league. With Etling, they're 7th. Ball is snapped. Perkins throws to the left. Incomplete pass. Bit too quick of a throw there by McClendon. If he had waited a little bit longer, that would have been a nice one. But they're still in field goal range. Throw the safe ball. Do not throw an interception here. 3-0 Houston over the Brahmas right now. Even the bad teams are not terrible. I mean, really, the top to the bottom, I would not be shocked if the St. Louis Renegades game sees one of those two teams get blown out by 30 to then blow a team out by 20 the next week. It just feels like that kind of season. You never know who's going to win every game. It's just like the 2023 USFL season minus the Stallions. You just have no idea. Pass thrown by McClendon to the left is going to be caught for a first down. Again, a very short but effective and simple throw to Marcus Sims. By the way, for those of you who do not know or haven't been keeping up with it, Cam Carter, the guy we traded away Sims for, still has not played a single down for us. So what a trade. 1st and 10 for the Roughnecks. They are in the red zone here. They're about 18.5 yards away from the end zone. Let's see what they do here. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, running back to the left with McLennan. Fakes the handoff, quick throw, a little screen pass. Justin Hall gets to about just shy of the 10-yard line. Very solid play for the Roughnecks. Again, they're going to be about 2nd and 2. Great play by them. This is insane. Again, like we said earlier, whoever wins this game is still very much alive in the playoff race in their conference, whereas whoever loses is probably done for the season, and by probably I mean most definitely. So let's see what the Roughnecks can do here. I will say, T-Dog, I don't know if you saw my reply to your reply. You forgot about Sailors. Sailors had a great game yesterday, too. I mean, it was another one that didn't show up in the stat sheets, but he had another great game yesterday. You got to give him a lot of credit, too. Run up right to the middle, gets to about the 4-yard line for a first down. Do Jacob Sailors. I'm doing an MVP video this week, more than likely. I'm going to do the Tank Bowl video, as well as a top 5 MVP ranking video. Sailors is probably going to be on it. He's probably going to be at the 4 spot just because his stats aren't great, but he's going to be great. Best back in the league this season, for sure. I mean, we've seen a couple of guys start stepping up recently, but Sailors, I mean, his bad games this season are like the average game for every other running back. Bad snap, but McLennan gets it back and just falls on it. Smart decision, just get it. Again, bad snap, not a fan of that. But again, it's because you don't see guys going right under the center often this season, so it's a bit weird. Panthers with Perkins at the helm is definitely top team in this league, but of course I'm just glad the Battlehawks pulled the game off. We needed that win badly. The Renegades losing this. It is true. I mean, that was a huge win for the Battlehawks, especially with the Renegades losing, because now you get the rematch. If you can beat the Renegades, you wash that slate 1-1, and that's a huge advantage for you. End of the first quarter, it is 3-0 Houston over San Antonio. Houston is about 6.5 yards away from the end zone on 2nd down. But yeah, I mean, if you can get that win next week against the Renegades, that's going to be massive for the Battlehawks. Because if you lose that game, even with DC beating the Renegades, it makes the climb tougher because now you're down head-to-head, so your conference record doesn't matter. Whereas if you can get this win, it's a big deal because you already did beat San Antonio once. So you got lucky that were able to play them before they got rid of AJ Smith, or AJ Smith left. So you already have that edge on your overall record this season. So then if you beat Arlington, you tie that series up. If Arlington were to get beat by San Antonio or something, it could be a huge help for you. Again, it's been insane this weekend. Every game has just been great this weekend. Hopefully that continues with this one. This one is looking to be a lower scoring game, but I mean, we know which ones it is. So, I mean, it's 2 teams. We're not too shocked to see that, but yeah. We have to beat the Renegades to tie the series 1, and then it'll go to point differential if both teams finish the same record. Well, it goes to strength of record, because I know we talked about that on Friday. It was just, I didn't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure G-Man was right when he was talking about it, where back in 2023, it was because the Dragons and Battlehawks had literally the same exact record, team for team, same record, because it normally goes strength of record, strength of losses, and then it goes to point differential. Yeah, it goes to strength of record first. It's just that, because I forgot which teams they lost to, but the Battlehawks and Dragons that season both got swept by DC and then went 1-1 against each other. So they had identical strengths of record and identical strength of schedule, strength of losses, all that. And that's what forced the tiebreaker to be that. Because I remember that people said it was the 7th tiebreaker or something had to determine it. And that was what that one was. Because I know we saw something similar last season with the Panthers and Stallions where it would have come down to point differential as well. And I believe that one was because you had a lot of teams finish with similar records, but I think so. 2023 was insane. You had the XFL where you had the Battlehawks and Dragons have that insane Week 9 game, and the tiebreaker be insane. You had the Week 10 between the USFL where you had the entire North Conference having an extra playoff round because it was winning in the Week 10 games. I mean, that was an insane year. That was crazy. I mean, remember, the Houston Gamblers were 5-5 that year. I mean, it doesn't get more crazy than that. The Brahmas home game. They finally get their first one. Would be great for them to get this win in front of their home crowd, first time this season. But we'll see. Again, time of possession so far, Houston is dominating over San Antonio by over double, which is insane. But again, it makes sense when you see it. I mean, man, when the worst game this week to me was St. Louis, Michigan, and that's still probably the third best game of the year for me, as is pretty crazy. Like, I know a lot of people say that today's game was great. I love the Memphis-Birmingham game. All three of these games are great. Hopefully we get a fourth one here. Ball is snapped, handed off, fakes a pitch, rolls, and he gets the touchdown. McClendon threw a lead block, and that lead block got them the touchdown. That's my quarterback. That's why I said if the Roughnecks win, I would be completely fine being wrong on my picks. Because McClendon threw a lead block for Zaquandre White. Look at that replay if you got this game on. He just throws it, just gets a nice little block. Love to see that. I do kind of wish all teams to the UFL and XL made the merger. I really hope the league, when they expand, stays at 12 teams. I think that's what I would say. I think 12 is the perfect amount. Well, to me, it's the Memphis-Birmingham I think was the best because I like games that have defense because, like, the game today and yesterday didn't feel like there was a ton of defense. Throw to sidearm, it is incomplete. So, that sucks, Easton. Can't watch the game. I'm assuming you don't have ESPN or Plus. I don't have ESPN right now, but I do have ESPN Plus. So, like, because of that, Memphis-Birmingham is the best for me. Then second best, I just go with today's game for the sole reason of I never thought what was coming next. Like, seeing Teamu throw that interception and then the Renegades choking, the pick six that got overturned because of the guy going out of bounds, it was like a narrative-driven game. It's like a wrestling match, how it's, a story. It's like a dance in the squared circle, except on football. It was like so many things happened compared to the Battlehawks one. And remember, this could also be because of the fact that I didn't get to watch the full Battlehawks-Panthers game because my viewing experience was literally, let me open it on my phone. Oh, it closed itself. Let me return on my phone. Let me put it back on for 10 minutes. Oh, I got to put it back on. So that might be part of it too. But I think Friday's game was the best, today's was the second best, and yesterday's was the third best. And by third best, I'm saying on the season. I think those were the three best games all year. I think it's pretty hard to argue anyone for that. 16 is perfect. The more the better. I do agree that the more the better. It's just that I think the reason I like 12 is because in a 12-team format, you can keep the 10-week schedule on the season by having it be two conferences. You have the conference winners get a first-round bye. Then you have the second and third teams play each other. That's why I like the 12, but I fully agree with the 16 would be great to have for sure. Because then you could have divisions, but return is up to about the 25, and he gets tackled at the 33-ish yard line. Because 16 would be great, but then I feel like they'd go back to making it be like 4 divisions. I actually like the idea of keeping it like the NBA in a sense of just having it be 2 conferences. So yeah. McClendon became a fullback on that play. Ain't that the truth? I agree. If 2 teams get brought back, it's the Dragons and Breakers. I'd love to see the Stars come back for the history and how important they are, but New Orleans loved watching this league even without the team there. They had an insane online fan base. The Dragons, as long as they come back as the Dragons, not the 2023 Sea Dragons. I want the OG Dragons, the OG logo. That would be great to see. Yeah, this weekend has been insane. This game is so far the weakest, and that's no offense to this game. It's just because this season's been insane. I would say probably. Yeah, if they have 16 teams, I feel like 12 is probably the minimum they have to play. Because if you do it by division format, you play each of your division opponents twice. That would be 6 games there. Then you can do like then you'd have to play 4 and 4. You can't really do it that way. If you do it by conferences, then you have to play 7 teams, 14. You might have to play a bit more than 12, honestly. Because to make it make sense, you might have to play... Well, no, because then you could do 2... Yeah, you could do 12 games. 6 games for your division rivals if you do it by that, and then 2 teams in each other division. You could do that. So yeah, 12 games would be the minimum in a 16-game schedule for sure. Runners up in the middle, gets about 5 yards on the play for the Brahmas. I think the league should go to 16 teams, 12-week season playoffs, stay the same, either 2 conferences, top 4 teams each. Um, if you keep it a conference format, I could see that. But if you do a division format, you'd probably have to add a playoff round. Because you do it by like 2 divisions in each conference, you'd probably have to add at least one more round. Make 4 teams make it each. Keep the 50% teams making the playoffs kind of thing. 2nd and 4. Ball is snapped. Mon looks to the right. Throws it. It's going to be caught for a first down at about the 31-yard line. Solid play by Mon right there. Again, for how much we've complained about him in the past, he's been a very efficient quarterback, not a turnover-prone quarterback. If they expand to 12, I'd bring back the Stars and Generals and move the Roughnecks back to the XFL conference. Like, the Stars and Generals, for the history of spring football, they just matter so much. That's the one thing I really hate about seeing them, get removed and odds are not coming back, because they're just, especially the Stars, you're talking about the spring football team. Ball is snapped, handed off to McFarland, who runs up the middle, breaks away, gets to the 45, the 50. He gets tackled at about the 44-yard line in Roughnecks territory. That is what you love to see from Anthony McFarland. Huge break from him. Love to see that. I'm exposing my age, but the 84 UFL was sweet with 18 teams. It's wild to look back and see they had 18. They went from like 12 to 18 like that. Had the Maulers play that 1 year. You got the Gamblers brought in. It was, what a year. Ball is snapped. They roll it up to about the left, and they get tackled at about the line of scrimmage. That's what I was saying. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, because if you do it the division format, it makes it to where you can just easily do the 2, division champs or division play each other something. Then you have the next round. If you do it by conference format, just the top 4 teams, that would be a good one. I hope they stick with the conferences and don't go to divisions. That's just me personally. I would love to see it just be completely different from the NFL playoff format in that sense, but we'll see. 2nd and 11 for the Brahmas. Mon is in shotgun, 1 man to his left, 2 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Ball is snapped. Looks to his right, looks over the middle of the field, throws it over the middle of the field. It is caught for a first down. There is a flag. Gets to the 30, gets to the 25, gets tackled out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. This might be offensive pass interference. We will see the replay of this one, though. Heard the word defense. Might be a defensive penalty. Yep, it's a defensive penalty. It is going to be declined. Holding on the defense is declined. Or what are they, the top 3 teams from each conference? Top each. If you do a 12-team format, that's what I want to see, is exactly that. But if you do a 16-team format, I like the idea of having 50% of the teams make the playoffs. I know, I hate it in, all the other leagues, but for spring football, I think it's fun to have that. But for 12 teams, I would do exactly that format. But I wouldn't be against it in a 16-team league either. I wouldn't be against it. 1st and 10 for the Brahmas. 1 receiver to the left, 3 to the right, running back to the right as well. Ball is snapped. They hand it off to Lovett, who goes to the left, gets to the 15, the 10, the 5, and he gets tackled at the 5-yard line. My apologies, that was not Lovett right there. That was the other one. With a 16 UFL team, it's debatable what 4 teams should come back. I mean, everybody would say the Breakers and Dragons, and then probably 2 expansion teams. Because that's what my assumption is they're going to try to bring back 1 team and then add 1 more team. Because then if you do that, you can hype up team or cities that had a team and cities that don't have a team or never had. Because, let's say, for instance, they bring back the Breakers and they add a team in Louisville this year. Now, if you're in Seattle, you're like, man, we might get the Dragons back. And if you're in, Raleigh, NC, you're like, man, we might actually get a team. That's what I would imagine happens. I love how we're talking about expansion, man. We all love this league. I agree. I hope this league lasts. I mean, the attendance, even the weaker weeks, like this week so far, are still much better than what we saw last year. Arlington hitting 9,500 again is a pretty solid number considering the start time this week. It's just a matter of the TV ratings continue to hold firm as long as they don't go down. If they just hold firm and increase a little bit, that's what we want to see. But, yeah. And we're in commercial break because the Roughnecks are challenging. See if we get a classic Curtis Johnson moment of him missing a challenge. That would be hilarious. Let's see. Got a message on Discord from somebody talking about Wii Sports Resort. Not even joking. Man, I do way too much stuff sometimes. Honestly, they should focus on older teams that are taken away, bringing them back before new teams. Well, the reason I like the idea of doing 1-and-1 is because you keep both of those. Because if you're the big thing is California and New York, right? Those are the TV markets, which is why you put a team there. but it costs so much damn money to have a team there. But if you can give them the illusion that they might get a team in the future, you might get more people to watch from there. That's kind of why I like the idea of 1-1, because I don't think you should only bring in new teams, but I don't think you should only bring in old teams. So we'll have to wait and see about what ends up happening for that one. Close out that. But we'll definitely see. Let's look at the stats so far in this game. Now that we're a bit more into the second quarter, McClendon is still insanely efficient. 8 of 11 for 65 yards. Again, he's not throwing deep passes, but he's efficient, and so is Mon. The two quarterbacks have only had 4 incompletions on the day. That's pretty damn solid. Love to see that. And pretty solid overall stats in the ground game, even though it's a lot of the, one big play, and that's pretty much it. But pretty good so far. Let's see what's going on Twitter. The Defenders. McFarland, okay. The Knicks get a 3-1 series lead. Not shocked at all. Inclement weather. The Zurich got suspended. I'm fine with that. That might mean I might be able to watch it at the end. I'm perfectly fine with that one. Oh, wow. Adam said he was not going to be able to be in the stream, by the way, in case you wonder where he is. But he is 0-3 this week on his game picks. Wow. Dump the showboats, bruh. Bring back the Breakers for sure. I mean, the main thing with the Breakers is when that TV ratings news came out where they still were, like, really high in TV ratings, even without the Breakers, it's pretty hard to not go against that. I agree. I would like to eventually see the Roughnecks go back to the XFL as well, especially because even though they are the Gamblers, they're treating them like the Roughnecks historically, so they should be in the XFL. Rebrand Memphis into the Maulers, since you said the name for them last Friday. I've always thought about the name. Hey, I mean, dude, even Jaron Horton on Twitter before the season said Memphis Maulers when he was on the team. Because, I mean, you can just look down the list on offensive defense. It's just Mauler after Mauler. Even special teams. Matt Mangold was a Mauler, for Christ's sake. First and goal for the Brahmas. Ball is snapped. Mon looks to the left. Throws it. It is going to be incomplete. Rooting for, I guess I'd say the team I picked to win, which is the Brahmas, but player-wise, obviously Jalen McClendon. That's what I would say. I hope that McClendon has a good game, but the Brahmas win. If the Roughnecks win because of McClendon, I'm fine with that, because I'm so glad he's finally getting his actual shot to play this year. I still believe he got screwed over in DC last year. I'm glad he's getting a shot here. Second and goal for the Brahmas. And there is a flag. Must have sucked being a Grizzlies fan. The Memphis Mall just sounds uncool. The Grizzlies, man. The former Vancouver Grizzlies. Alize Mack got caught with the false start. They're going to be backed up 5 yards. Going to be about second and goal from the 10-yard line. Of course, Party is still the interim head coach. Wade Phillips has not been back yet. Of course, the grandson of the former Houston Gamblers head coach. Again, spring football is a very, very small world, apparently, because everybody seems to come back to it. Second and goal for the Brahmas at about the 11-yard line. They don't get the snap off. This is going to be a delay of game. They're going to lose another 5 yards. That is inexcusable. That is showing a bit of error from mainly Peyton Party, I would assume, and just being a bit... They did get a timeout off. Even then, to get a delay of game after a penalty, that is a really bad look for the Brahmas. So they have to waste a timeout with a little over 10.5 minutes left in the quarter. I hate to say this, but depending on how attendance and TV ratings goes, Memphis has to at least rebrand or relocate. Something. If they don't improve a bit this season. If they got a couple... with this win, I'm hoping their attendance cracks over 5K. If they do, we'll talk about it another day. But Memphis, man, it's been rough. Hopefully their attendance goes up. I think everybody can agree we're expecting their attendance to go up after getting the win over Birmingham. If they can hit over 5K, that would be great to see. That'd be constant improvement this season. That's what we need to see is improvement. Again, we're gone with looking at the base number. It's about the improvement aspect and consistency. So hopefully they improve, but we'll see when their next home game is. Ball is snapped by Mond. Looks over the middle of the field. Throws it. It is going to be incomplete. Went through the hands of him. A bit of a low pass. Not a terrible pass, but not good enough. 3rd and goal for the Brahmas. Gets tackled right there. You see that play right there? Right there. They called that roughing the passer on, I believe, Travis Feeney yesterday. That was like the exact same play. Like, that's what I mean. Like, that officiating yesterday was just bad on both teams. Like, that was called roughing the passer last night. Memphis is bad, though. I'm normally against the 2, but it really doesn't seem like shows. They're colored in scarlet and silver. They look like Toledo now. Shore went to the Browns' fall all the way to the 5th. There's another penalty. Is this going to be false start again? Delay of game in the offense. Well, the one thing is that this is Memphis' 3rd year there in Memphis, because I've always said that you have to give a team 3 years. Like, you know, a lot of people say give a draft pick 5 years. I say give a team 3 years. Through 3 years, this is saying that their attendance doesn't get better. I expect it to get better. But that would be attendance going down steadily. Michigan's has been going up. Birmingham has been the same. St. Louis went down a tiny bit, but, like, bro, it's over 30K a game. Like, you can't complain about that. Mon gets the snap, throws it for the end zone. It is intercepted! Mon with the bad interception. That is the one thing he couldn't do, is throw an interception there. That is not what you want to see. That is a terrible throw by Mon. The normally efficient and safe passer of Mon, that was a bad pass by him. Threw it into double coverage in the end zone. That is a rough. They just lost what would have been at least 3 points right there. Showing that replay. Just got... Ooh, hate to see that. That is a bad throw right there. Well, I only remember Mike Mitchell talking about the Panthers' attendance when it came to the UFL. Because I remember him saying last year that the numbers were better than they were that one. But I only remember him saying that just for the Panthers. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the only one I remember him saying. Because he did make that a point to say the Panthers' numbers last year were better than they were in the USFL in 2023. I did not hear that for the other 2 teams. Ball is snapped. Handoff. Runs to the right. Gets about 7 yards on the ground. Really solid first down rush for the Roughnecks right there. They're up 9-0. Again, we got about 9.5 minutes left in the half. Yeah, the attendance should go up for Memphis after that big one for sure. After the Grizzlies eliminated, show its attendance might go up. That's the Grizzlies. Man, Ja Morant. I loved how he was trying to, like, hide from the camera or something like that, and then ESPN just cut to a different camera. That was great. 2nd and 4 for the Roughnecks. McClendon is under center. It's a false start. You know, we were talking about earlier about teams being a lot closer. What we're seeing right here is why these 2 teams are 1-3. These are bad penalties that they're making here. Avery Genesee with a bad false start penalty. What do you think about the Browns QB room? I think it's hilarious. It's what? Dylan Gabriel. Can't believe he got drafted as high as he did. It's Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and some other guy that I forgot. Like, it's Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's on injured reserve, so 3 of these guys are going to make the roster, which is insane. I think it's hilarious. McClendon throws over the middle. It's going to be caught at about the 35-yard line, but he's going to get tackled a bit. Insane play by them right there. Yeah, the Browns QB room is hilarious. Flacco's going to be the starter probably. Pickett's probably QB2, and then either Gabriel or Shedeur is going to be QB3. And then QB on injured reserve is going to be Deshaun. What a great quarterback room. But hey, at least it's better than the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers is Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and Will Howard. And no offense to Will Howard, but like, Skylar Thompson and Mason Rudolph are your 2 best quarterbacks on your roster right now. They need Rodgers. Ball is snapped. Handed off. Gets about 4 yards on the carry. Again, very solid play right there for the Roughnecks. A big thing this year is, of course, ground game. Is Sanders overrated? My honest opinions on it. Pure quarterback from what I've seen. He was the 3rd to 2nd best QB as a quarterback. I say 2nd or 3rd because the ceiling on Jalen Milroe is just insane. It's just the floor is low. The issue, this QB class was nowhere near as good as last year's. Even Ward being a 1st overall pick, that would never have happened last year. The issue is Sanders is the 2nd or 3rd best QB this draft. But that's not like saying he's a top 5 talent with a team with, like, getting picked top 20. right? He is, like, talent-wise, probably, like, a second or third rounder. But you have so much publicity with him, with Deion Sanders. Like, it was a negative headline after negative headline, and people just try to deflect it. When you see it come out a ton, odds are some of it's true. So if you have a bad attitude, you've had bad media moments, you have a father that's very, like, ingrained with everything, I'm not shocked he slid. Am I shocked he slid to the 5th round? For sure, but I'm not shocked he slid. But I think the Browns got him at a steal. Ball is snapped. McClendon looks over to his left, throws a deep shot. He's going for the moon ball. It is caught at the sideline at about the 5-yard line. Incredible throw by Jalen McClendon right there. That is an insane throw. A great catch by the Roughnecks. Huge play. That's about a 50-yard gain right there, showing the replay here. One of it might be bad, but it looks like he's good. 46-yard reception. Huge play. 1st and goal for the Roughnecks. Looks like they're going to be reviewing this play, though. I agree with T-Dog. They're probably going to let him play both some. Because it's not like the Jags are loaded at receiver or cornerback. Again, the focus is always going to be him at cornerback. I think it's going to be like Deion with the Falcons, where he did play some receiver, except he's going to play more than Deion did. But he's not going to play like a ton. He's not going to be a full-time on both sides, but he's going to play a decent amount of offense, I would assume. Do you think Ballard will ever get back in the NFL? I would assume so. We've seen a lot of these guys at least get some sort of shot. Like, when it comes to guys who've been in the league for, like, years, it's a bit harder to get back into it. But I wouldn't be shocked if he got another shot, because he's been solid this season. He hasn't been incredible, but especially today, he looked really good. Yep, they're going to review this. It looked like his 1 foot did not get in bounds there. Going to be overturned for an incomplete pass. Let's see. Steelers will deal with a controversial quarterback with Aaron Rodgers. I think the one thing with when it comes to Rodgers is, even though the last couple years he hasn't been great, the fact is, like, 3 years ago, he was a top 2 quarterback in the league. So it goes back to, like, the thing with Shedeur being, like, talent-wise, like, a round 2 talent kind of guy. Whereas Rodgers, I mean, he's a top 10 all-time quarterback who, if you think still has a year or 2 left, you'll deal with the baggage. It's like the talent expected, you know, what you're going to get and all that. I mean, it makes sense. Didn't get to listen to the Defenders Renegades game, but that final score was wild. That game was insane. Te'amu nearly threw the game away with a bad interception, then the Renegades did nothing with it, and then the Defenders got a game-winning touchdown drive. The Renegades had a shot to win it, and they couldn't do it. It was an insane game. Run to the left, gets tackled out at the line of scrimmage. How is Sailors not in the NFL? I believe he did get a shot last year in, like, a training camp, but just didn't fully click. Some of it is just a matter of where you're good talent-wise. Like, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to out him out for saying this. It's not somebody in chat. But there was somebody I was talking to who was, like, fully set on, like, saying Anthony Brown was going to be a great quarterback in this league because of what he did in the preseason. The reason I've never been a huge believer in NFL talent translating to spring football is because it's a different level. Like we saw with, like, Wayne Gallman. In theory, Gallman should have annihilated Sailors with the Battlehawks. He should have been the RB1. McClendon runs, gets the first down. He might be called about a half-yard short. Great run by McClendon. Because, again, Gallman was a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL. He should have annihilated Sailors. But he didn't translate as well as Sailors did to this level. Like college, some guys are just great in college. You think they'll translate well to the NFL? They don't. It's like, even though it's a different level of football, just because you're really talented doesn't mean it translates to that specific level. So, that's might be why for some of these guys, like Sailors, he might be great at this level, but not the NFL. But hey, if you're able to play in this one, it's all you need. 4th and 1 for the Roughnecks. And the Roughnecks do call a time in here. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1 here. Under 5 minutes left in the game. Or in the quarter, my bad. What a game. What a weekend. I mean, this game, someone suggested the Memphis Maulers. I'd bite. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the classic tweets from Jaron Horton earlier in the offseason calling them the Memphis Maulers. They've got all these former Maulers players. I mean, at this point, it's like, why not? I mean, when your punter is a former Mauler, one of your quarterbacks is a former Mauler, the guy that just got that kick six is a former Mauler, like a third of your defense are former Maulers, you know, I would like to see it. I think it would be a cool idea. Try to, drum up some interest. Call them the Memphis Maulers. Why not? You'd piss off Pittsburgh fans, but yeah. You already did that with the Roughnecks and the Gamblers thing, so why not? 4th and 1 for the Roughnecks. They hand it off up the middle. Ooh, it does not look like he got it. It looks like he was about a yard shy. Or it depends where it is. No, it looks like he might have gotten it. Let's see. The ESPN graphics, man, like, they're so much worse than Fox. You can barely tell anything on TV. Let's see. Showing the replay here. Runs up. Hey, looks like he got that. At least on that angle, it looked like he got to the pylon. Or not to the pylon, but to the first down marker. Ooh, not in that. Again, weird angles, but we'll see. True Line's going to have to come in clutch here. Let's see, they're still measuring it. About 4.5 minutes left. Houston, of course, is fully out of timeouts and challenges. It is a first down. Just by about like half an inch, it is a first down for Houston. Talking about that damn index card from a few years ago. What a classic moment in NFL history right there. By the nose. Let's see what the Roughnecks do here. 1st and 10. They are less than 45 yards away from the end zone. Can they get it? McClendon is under center. We've seen a lot of under center from the Roughnecks today, which we do not see from like any other team. Ball is snapped. They do a little bit of a shuttle pitch pass to the left. Gets to the 40, gets to the 35, gets to the 30, tackled at the 30 for the first down. We're going to cross the 4 minutes remaining. Again, San Antonio still has 2 timeouts and a challenge, so they've still got time to do something if they get the ball back. Remember, Houston does not get the ball at half. It is going to be the Brahmas who get it. So the Brahmas will be able to score after the half. They might be able to double up if they get another drive. McClendon fakes the throw, rolls to his right, breaks the tackle, and he just goes down for about a 3-yard gain. Solid play by him. Just get a couple of yardage. Don't lose it. Don't throw it. Just get a couple of yards. 2nd and 8 for the Roughnecks now. Three minutes and 20 seconds left in the half. The Roughnecks are getting dangerously close to having triple the amount of yards that San Antonio does. They're in shotgun, 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, motioning one from the right to the left, one running back to his left in the backfield with him. Hands it off, rolls up or runs up the middle, gets to about the 25. It is going to be about a 3rd and 4 now. Under 3 minutes left in the half now. Yep, 3rd and 5. Get a first down here. You can try to eat up much of that clock. Force San Antonio to call their timeout so they can't do something to try and score a touchdown or a field goal. Let's see what they do. Do they run it? Do they throw it? Let's see. 2.5 minutes left in the half. McClendon is in 5 wide. Ball is snapped. Looks over the middle of the field. Looks to his right. He's going to try and run it. He breaks the sack. He gets the first down and then slides. And he got hit in the head, but there is going to be no flag. But he did run and get the first down. Great rush by McClendon right there. Look at that. He got hit, but he was able to just get right through that sack. Just got through it. Incredible. Bad tackling by the Brahmas there. That should have been a sack. That was a bad play by the defender right there. 1st and 10. We are at the 2-minute warning now at the half. What a game. What a drive for Houston. This has been pretty insane. Again, Kellen Mond, that interception was a bad one. Oh no, don't tell me I just saw what I think I saw about John Jones in the UFC. There's like 3 things that this post could be. Second longest heavyweight title reign in UFC history. My God. That's insane. The fact that he's held that belt for 2 years and he has 1 defense against a 45-year-old firefighter, or however old Stipe is diabolical. One of the worst title reigns in UFC history. If that was anyone else, they would have been forced to relinquish their belt like that or defend it. Instead, Jones just gets to do what he does. Absolutely wild. Like, it's insane how UFC fans, like, you'll see some of them try to, like, gaslight themselves into acting like this is a great era for UFC. This is probably the weakest era for the UFC in, like, 25-ish years. Basically since its inception. Because, like, your big fighters don't fight, aside from Pereira. And then you just have so many guys you don't bring into the UFC because you don't want to actually spend money to get them, even though you're making a ton of money. It's wild. I mean, so many UFC cards are $80, and you got, like, 2 good fights on them. Like, the last couple, or, like, the last one and the upcoming one are rarities. You rarely get, like, more than 2 good fights in a card. Brahmas letting me down today. I mean, man, Kellen Mond throwing the interception, you do not expect to see him throw that ball. Because the fact that that's been the one thing he's been really good at this season is keeping the ball safe. And that was such a bad throw at such a bad time when, especially at that point, you needed to get at least some points on the board. That was rough to see. But yeah. It's rough for the Brahmas. But you know what? If they can stop Houston from getting a touchdown, force a field goal, it's only a 12-point game. It's a 2-score game, but, you know, it's just 2 touchdowns and no extra points or anything. It's solid. These ads. I will say, the one thing about the UFL is so annoying is how many ads you get in the 2-minute warning. You just get this, like, infinite amount of them. It just never ends. Let's see what else is on Twitter right now. Retweeting the Deontay Burnett touchdown from a long time ago. The guy who prank called Shedeur Sanders made a statement apologizing about it. Bro, that's wild. I thought dude, that's hilarious, dude. You shouldn't apologize for that. You should be like, bro, maybe just, you know, do better or something like that. And we got another spring football scoregami. The Defenders Renegades game has never ended like that. Bro, just hashtag the Defenders twice. Excuse me. So, we're just putting stuff wrong. Ball is snapped, run up the middle. It is going to be about a 4-yard gain on the play. Again, the ground game so far, especially in this drive, has been very solid for Houston. It's been the one issue this year across the entire league is the ground game not being good. Even with these higher scoring games the past, you know, this weekend, the ground game has still not been incredible. That was a really solid play so far, and so far it's been solid. They only gained about 2 yards, but it looked like they would have lost a lot more. Let's see, 2nd and 8 for the Roughnecks. No timeout called by the Brahmas. Again, if they get a stop here, they're probably going to call a timeout. Try and get this ball back with about a minute left. Let's see what the Roughnecks do here. Ball is snapped, drop back, look to the left. He's going to throw it to the left. It is going to be caught for a first down, and he's going to be tackled. Maybe out of bounds. He's going to call it inbounds. Let's see, but either way, that is going to be 1st and goal within the 5-yard line. Incredible throw by McClendon. Only the receiver could catch that one. Justin Hall got a nice one there. Huge play for the Roughnecks. If they can get this to be a 15-point lead, potentially maybe a 17-point lead, that would be insane for them. 1st and goal. And the Brahmas have to be very careful with how they use their timeouts here because you do want to try and double up. Even if it's just a field goal heading into the half, you can get at least 3 points on the board and then score after the half. It'll be great for you, but let's see. 9-0 Houston over San Antonio. McClendon under center. Hands it off. And a great play by the defense. Just stop him immediately for a 0-yard gain. Might even be about a 1.5 yard loss for the Roughnecks. Great play by the Brahmas defense. My goat, Justin Hall, he's doing well. This receiving core for the Roughnecks, man, starting to look pretty good. Again, the Roughnecks going to try and use some of this clock. You got to use a decent amount, but not too much here because, again, you do have 2 extra plays. You have this play and the 3rd down play. Then you got to kick it. So again, snap this ball quickly because you might even go for it in fourth down depending on how close you get to the end zone. Let's see. Under center again. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. McClendon rolls out to his left. He's going to throw for the end zone. It is almost a touchdown. That should have been one. That could have also been intercepted. I would love to see a replay on that one. That was almost a touchdown play. Let's see this one. If they show it. ESPN does a terrible job of showing replays. They didn't do it well yesterday, and they didn't do it well today. Let's see. Throws this one. Ooh, that was a great throw. It got over the defender. That should have been a catch. Ooh, it did get tipped a teeny bit. That was a great play by all parties involved, aside from the receiver. 3rd and goal. Again, do just a play here. If you gain like 4 yards, you might as well go for it, but you have to gain about 4 yards. They throw a little screen. It's going to be a touchdown. Is this going to be good, though? There is a flag. As of now, it is a touchdown. Kirk Merritt in the end zone. They got a lot of issues in the team, but I think the biggest one is Mon. When Mon plays well, the team plays well. When Mon sucks, he sucks. Well, the issue with Mon is that when he plays well, he's just an efficient guy. Like, he's like what people claimed Perez was heading into last year, which is just kind of like a completion percentage merchant, which is what people actually thought Perez heading into last season, which I can't believe. But that's kind of what Mond is. He's not going to do any like insane plays. He's going to play efficient ball. But if he's also turning the ball over, it's like, what is he really giving you? Like, there's a reason why the Vikings got rid of him so quickly, despite him being a day 2 pick. And it is a penalty on the offense, by the way, so they are backing up 5 yards. They might as well just kick a field goal here. Again, you have 5 seconds. You could do a very, very quick end zone shot. But if I was a coach, I might as well play it safe. Just kick the field goal. So let's see what they do here. They are going to kick it. That's the correct call. Just get the field goal. Get your 12-0 lead heading into halftime. Brahmas are going to try to ice him using one of those timeouts. You're still heading into half with a timeout left, which isn't great. Again, if you play those timeouts a bit better, you could have ended up getting the ball back with like 30-ish seconds left. But, it is what it is. What a game, man. This has so far been the weakest game of the week, but that's mainly just because the other 3 games have just been incredible. I mean, really, this was a great weekend of football. Let's see what's happening on the Twitter space right now. Showing the Jacob Slavin goal, I think. NFL fans are... No, they're not calling for him to get fired, bro. Stop. Let's see what people are saying under that Ulbrich tweet or post. Prison him, excuse me. Bro, people are actually talking about this like that's something insane. Like, dude, bro was doing some trolling. That's what always happens. It's just a little trolling, bro. NASCAR is trending, but not super high. I wonder if there was a crash already. Of course, Talladega is where you see a ton of crashes all the time. And there was a crash. Okay, not shocked at all. What am I watching, dude? Twitter is a wild place. I think Houston wins this game pretty decently, honestly. I don't think Houston shuts SA out, but Houston has this game in the bag unless they do a colossal flop in the second half, which would be peak Houston. I mean, that would be a callback to the Gamblers days of 2022 when they blew all those halftime leads. But, yeah, this game has not been looking too good for the Brahmas at all. Again, they do get the ball at half, so if they're able to score a touchdown, they would be able to cut this lead into half at least. That's the one issue if you're being forced to kick field goals is, especially in the UFL where you have, a lot of 2-point, 3-point, 1-point attempts being the way they are. One touchdown and an extra point can make this game close. I mean, if you get a touchdown on a 3-point conversion, it's a field goal game, so yeah. USFL side needs Houston to win. Keep the USFL side competitive. I mean, you can say that for both sides in a lot of ways, but yeah, I mean, Houston win would make it a bit more... no, they're about the same on both sides, but... Yeah. I mean, it's It's just for Houston, man, C.J. Johnson. If he gets too many wins, he's going to keep his job. SC needs to score opening. Yeah, they need to touch down that opening drive. A field goal, I don't think is enough for them. Curtis Johnson getting upset with the wrong player. Peak Curtis Johnson right there. That is peak Curtis Johnson right there. That's great. Everyone hating on CJ. Isn't that the truth? 29-yard field goal. Third and goal. Let's see if he makes this kick. Make it 12-0. Kick is up, and it is good. I believe the record is XFL. I don't know. Well, we're at halftime. I literally don't have to keep this thing up right now. Let's go to the schedule. I can actually go to these. Okay. So division record is 2-1. So Michigan is 1-0 against the XFL. The Stallions are 1-0, so that's 2-0. The Roughnecks are 0-2. The Showboats are 0-1. So I believe that's 2-3, Chad. Is that correct? Oh, no, because they both also lost to those ones too. So I think that's 5 and something. I'm looking at this the wrong way. Let's do it the correct way. Okay, 1-0. 2-0 XFL at USFL. 2-0 for the XFL. 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. 4-1, 4-2. Those are both regional games, or 4-2. So 4-2, then 5-2, 5-2 so far. XFL over the USFL. Yeah, the Panthers and Stallions both have 1, and then of course, just like last year, you have 2 teams getting obliterated. Halftime 12-0, bro. Laying a goose egg. The Brahmas not good. Yeah, I think a lot of that really is Arlington and DC. Not even. It's just the Panthers not playing Perkins has been hurting them, but the Stallions, the Stallions just aren't looking too good with that. And the XL, you got the DC Defenders, who I was hating on them early in the season. I even tweeted out something about this one, but I kept them at one of my power rankings, and I'm glad I did. They're the best team in the league so far. The Renegades, at this point, they're the second best team in the league. At this point, you can't really argue the top 2 teams. Now, I know there's going to be at least somebody on later today or tomorrow that's going to put, the Panthers or the Stallions at, 3, which, no. You've always got somebody. The fact that people were trying to put Birmingham at 1 last week was insane to me. There's going to be somebody trying to put them above St. Louis. Right now, it's the top 3 to me is unarguable. It's DC, then Arlington, then St. Louis. To me, that's your top 3 in that order. Then 4 and 5, you can argue between 2 teams, and that's obviously Michigan and Birmingham. Then 6 is where it gets tough between the bottom 3 teams. That's what I would say. Even with this game, this score holds. San Antonio drops back to 8, obviously. And then it's a matter of, do you value Memphis's 1 win more than Houston's 2 wins, which one of them was over Memphis, but that was a while ago. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I would say the top 3 are set in stone. 4 and 5 are debatable. Then 6, 7, and 8 depends on if the Brahmas do lose this game, then it's just about 6 and 7. That's what I would say the power rankings are. I can't do anything about those top 3. I think it's that order. I think it's DC, Arlington, St. Louis. Even though I have a lot of issues with how Arlington beat St. Louis, it was a very sketchy win. A lot of people overreacted to it. I think this game against DC did prove that defense Arlington has can play well, even though they allowed a lot of points. They made a lot of big plays. Gonna be AFK here for a bit, but hopefully it gets more competitive. Hopefully San Antonio can pull something off for sure. We'll see. It'll be something else. I will say, I know I've talked about this in the past, but I'm finally getting close to getting this whole room done. There's still stuff that isn't hung up that I don't know if I'm gonna hang them up because I just don't have a lot of space in here. But a lot of like the shelf stuff, like I know you've seen the one back there in previous videos. A lot of it is getting a lot cleaner. Like once I'm done with this stream and before all the stats get updated, I'm probably gonna like finish that one. Then I'll have like one shelf that's to my right. There's like a wall, but that doesn't go to the door. There's like a little space there. There's another shelf. That's gonna be like the only shelf I have to fully do, and then I'm done with this room pretty much, which is going to be great to finally have this place done. Well, we got the one black sheep of the week, then that's this one, because, I mean, other 3 games, incredible, tight games. This one, not so much. Goodbye, Pepsi. Talking about, I really wish I hope next season we get, like, some actual halftime thing. Like, I hate having, like, 3 straight one of these like this, like, Let's see the comments under the San Antonio post at half. You guys stink, bro. Ain't no way. What a strat. My power ranks would be Brahmas at 8. Hold up, I just missed that one. Would be Brahmas at 8, Memphis at 7, Houston at 6, BM at 5, Michigan at 4, Arlington at 3, St. Louis at 2, 1 DC. I mean, for me, I think the toughest one to rank is Birmingham, Michigan, because it all goes back to the fact that Birmingham did beat Michigan. But I think since then, it's pretty clear that the Panthers with Perkins are just such a better team. And it's like the Stallions, it's just, they lost to Memphis. I mean, like, let's call it like it is. They lost to Memphis. They have to go down. Hey, Joe Tessitore, man, I saw that a lot of people were really loving how he was doing. I mean, the guy from wrestling, as the joke is, I mean, he's a veteran of this business, and he's definitely that. If you're going to be stuck watching an ESPN UFL game, that's the commentator you want to have. Because even though you got all the other issues with being on ESPN, not Fox, you've got a damn good guy in the booth for that one. That's for sure. Then, of course, when it comes to Friday Night Football, you always got Friday Night Football going on, so at least you got one Fox game every week. But this was definitely a weird one, because, I mean, having every game on, like, an ESPN, because wasn't yesterday's game on ESPN? Yes, it was. So you had 3 straight ESPN games this week, which is pretty wild, but hopefully you get some good ratings on them. Just for shits and gigs, let's check and see what's trending right now. The Knicks still trending, of course they are. NASCAR's going up, not shocked. Blues, not shocked. Jeff Ulbrich, not shocked. That's hilarious. Slavin is trending. Love to see that as a Hurricanes guy. McClendon is the real dude. I mean, yeah. I like it when they have the games on ESPN, because then I'm able to watch. Oh, yeah. I mean, I know it's great for people who only have ESPN, but I know most people, it's like you got, you know, your basic antenna TV stuff with, like, you know, Fox and ABC, but yeah. Brahmas were cursed for having 4 home games. It definitely really sucked with that. It's just a matter of this win would have helped them out, because then, even how bad their schedule was at first, because of how the season played out, getting that win last week gave you a lot of hope, because then you have 4 home games to end your, you know, the last 6 games of the season. But if you lose this one, it just basically means that mean nothing. Yeah, they tend to, but somehow the FS1 game ended up doing really good earlier this year with the Battlehawks, which was insanely shocking, doing better than, like, multiple ESPN games. Yeah, the NBA NHL playoffs, got to deal with that for, like, another bit, but we don't have any sort of major event going on, right? There's no Masters, there's no WrestleMania, you know, there's no, what is it, March Madness going on. Like, the major events are all pretty much over for a while, so hopefully we see some improvement. Hopefully we get the Friday Night Football game to actually hit the 700K mark instead of, like, kind of rounding to it. Get a couple other games. You haven't had a game average 1 million. We're not going to this week, obviously, because there's no game on ABC, but who knows? I believe I'm pretty sure it's just ABC, but it is definitely on ESPN+. I wouldn't be shocked if it's on both ABC and ESPN, but I just don't think it is off the top of my head. Hurricanes up 2-0 after the first period. Love to see that. Talking about all these other guys who got prank calls. Yeah, people actually thinking that guy was going to get fired or something is wild. Let's go. Monitor / PC's doing the glitch thingy again. Man, I love it when it does this. There we go. Now it's working. The Champions game's gonna be FS1. That'd be hilarious. Hogan needs to play. If you're asking for Kevin Hogan, you know your team's down horrific. But, like, man, it's not looking good. Like, stat-wise, let's see what Mond is doing right now. Kellen Mond is 3 of 7 for 32 yards and a pick. Remember, he started 3 of 4. So, since that start, he has been 0-3 with an interception. That's bad. He has a 17.3 passer rating. That's even worse. That's not what you want to see. The issue is that the San Antonio QB, I mean, it's like the Showboats. The issue I had heading into the season with the Showboats was just like San Antonio, the quarterback room. Your backups were inherently the worst in the league for San Antonio. Kevin Hogan and Jared Garantano, I know Garantano's not there anymore, I believe, but their backups were the worst in the league. So it's like if you bench Mond, it's like you're going to like even worse. So like, even though I wouldn't be against it, it's like you're hoping that Hogan plays well when last year he gave you like one drive in like the one game he played. It's like the Showboats, man. Guess what? When the Showboats played a quarterback that wasn't a guy we've seen before that we knew was just okay, got the W. So we'll see. But if Mond throws another interception, I think it's definitely time to bench him. Or if he goes like 0 of 3, 3 straight, play or 3 straight downs, they have to punt it, then yeah, I would think about benching him. Especially because remember the Brahmas do get the ball out of half. They need to score. If they don't score, it's basically game over for them. Aaron Dolan. Oh no. Currently minus 11.5 for Houston. That's so bad. Over-under is 31.5 right now. Not too shocked with how this game's been going. I don't feel bad for the Brahmas. I'm still not over that playoff game last season. What a game. That was something else. Aaron Dolan, bro. I swear, bro. Let me pull up the thing. Go next. We need strength in the USFL side. Hopefully they can pull something off. Or, they can get the win. That'll be pretty huge, especially for Jalen McClendon. But especially when it comes to the other side of it, it would be great to see San Antonio make this a close game. Again, try to get 4 straight close, fun games would be great to see. But we'll see. Quit yapping, Aaron Dolan, Lamau. Yeah, good old Discord. Yes, we need to stop force-feeding betting. Like, I get it. It's, it's a good way to support the league. But, like, dude, the ESPN ones, it's just unbearable. Like, you should make a mention of it here and there when the time is right. But it shouldn't be, like, every time you come from commercial break. It's like, oh, who just hit the over? Like, especially the player prop bets. It's like, bruh, if you're following the player bets and you're doing that, you're paying attention to the game. Like, over, under, and all that, I'm fully fine talking about that from, like, an average Joe kind of way. But, like, dude, if you're actually betting on, like, Josh Lovitz over, under rushing yards, you're paying attention to this game, right? Like, you don't need somebody to talk about it, especially if they're analyzing, is just stating how many yards they have. That's what I would say. Maybe H-Town will put some fannies in the seats. Hopefully they get some fans there because, I mean, the whole argument was, they're back in TDECU. They're no longer in that awful Rice, but then it just hasn't worked out this season so far. But you know what? If you get wins, like, there's no way to cure attendance like getting some W's. So we'll see. Can the Brahmas actually do something here? I forgot they do got to punt this one off. Again, we joined this game late. I thought that they were getting the ball at half. No, the Roughnecks are getting the ball at half. So the Brahmas are screwed if they allow a touchdown here. So let's see what the Roughnecks do. Again, very weird because most teams defer. Of course, with how the UFL is, like coin toss, you just get to defer. So very, poor move right there. This is why you defer, so you get the ball at half. But now the Roughnecks do. Brahmas need to get a stop here. That is your best way to get fans to see is to win your games. Yeah, I mean, if you get wins, it's always going to help you out. Look at the Renegades last year. They, lost a few games, and their attendance went down. They got, like, 1 win. Their attendance jumped up for that 1 week, and it's all that. Kick is up. It is going to be returned initially at about the 1 yard line. Incredible kick. Gets to the 10, gets to the 15, gets to the 20. Returns up to the 25. Gets tackled just shy of the 30. It's going to be about the 29 yard line for the Roughnecks to start this drive at. So let's see what they do here. Again, this game score prediction is 22-3 Houston. Hey, why don't we get 25-0 again? Wasn't that the score of the championship game last year? That would be hilarious. Get a repeat of that one. 20 minutes to 10 in time possession is insane, by the way. All right, McClendon is in shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, 3 to his right. Ball is snapped. McClendon looks to his left. He's going to throw it. It's going to be caught. Going to be a first down for the Roughnecks. Great play right there. It always feels like the weakest game of the week. Oh, for sure. I mean, especially when the other 3 games, I think, are legitimately the 3 best games of this entire season. Like, this had to be insane to live up to it. Obviously, it's not. I mean, it's 12-0. I don't think that anyone's going to be, like, jumping for joy about this one. 2nd and 1 for the Roughnecks. Ball snap. They fake the handoff. Throw it to the left. It is going to be caught for about a 4.5, 5.5 yard play right there. Solid gain for the Roughnecks there. Again, solid, accurate throws by Jalen McClendon. Just doing what he needs to. The tank ball. Hey, gotta love the tank balls. I mean, hey, we did have the one decently high-scoring one back in the USFL, but this one, yeah. Pass thrown to the right. It's a bit of a screen pass. Ends up not working fully, but Hall ends up still getting about 6 yards on the play somehow on a play that he should have lost about a yard for. Solid play by Hall. Gonna make this about 2nd and mid, about 2nd and like 4 yards, 2nd and 5. Yep, 2nd and 4. McClendon is in shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. He's got his running back in the backfield with him to his right. Let's see what they do here. Motions 1 receiver to the right. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. McClendon throws. Very solid throw for the first down. Again, threw it like in between about like 3 different defenders. That's a very solid, accurate throw. Not a massive one in the stat sheet, but a very solid throw to watch. Again, this is what we love to see about Jalen McClendon. Love to see him do this. 1st and 10 now for the Roughnecks. Never mind, I'm calling a ballsy prediction. Houston shuts out SA 22-0. That would be hilarious to see, though. That would be insane. That would look so bad for San Antonio. Especially after all the hype they got the last 2 weeks. We are in sync for the first time this year. I think we're probably both on ESPN Plus, I would assume, because I'm watching this game. I got this put up on half the monitor right here, but yeah. Roughnecks use a timeout, even though we're only 2 minutes into the half. They immediately use one, so let's see. And still scoreless. That is, you do hate to see that. That is rough to see. Again, McClendon, man, has been having a very solid game today. Much better than Kellen Mond. The Brahmas have to get a stop here. If they let Houston score a touchdown here, I mean, you're talking about like a 3-score difference. If they get any sort of extra point, that's going to make it just insanely tough to actually get. Because if they don't score a touchdown, and I'm San Antonio, you're probably having to go for 3, yeah. Especially after a massive win last week, yeah. And even the week prior, they barely lost to Michigan. Oh, you're on ESPN? Wow, I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked I'm similar to you. I thought it would have been delayed by a bit. But even the Michigan game, I mean, you were a destroying field goal away from forcing OT and potentially winning that one. So this would be really bad to lose this one. Ball is snapped. McClendon hands it off. Runs up the middle, gets about 2 yards, gets pushed for maybe a 3rd yard. Pretty run right there. To buy a lighter to start the girl. They told her she got to be 21 to buy a lighter. What? That's diabolical. To buy a lighter, you only need to be like 18 to smoke. Brahmas need a whole rebuild next season. Yeah, I mean, with how the team was built, the whole issue with A.J. Smith, from what I heard, it was really bad about things with A.J. Smith there. Wade potentially being gone. If Pardee stays as the head coach next season, they're definitely going to have to rebuild some of this team. 2nd and 7, ball is snapped, fake the handoff. Looks to his right, looks over the middle of the field, looks to his left, does a little bit of a dumper to his RB. Gets to the 35, makes a spin move, makes another move. And he almost gets the first down. He might have gotten it, but he might be called about a half-yard short. Oh, okay, where you're at, they changed it. Yeah, we're at, in NC, you only have to be 18 to buy cigarettes. Or it's the lottery. No, I think it's cigarettes and lottery, yeah. 3rd and 2 for the Roughnecks here again. Very solid dump. Again, not a big play, but it was the smart play. Just throw it to the correct read. The guy that's open can get some yards. Love to see it. Iowa sucks, bruh. 3rd and 2 for the Roughnecks. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, 1 running back to his right. He hands it off, makes a cut move, runs up, and he gets the first down. The only thing NC that sucks is that gambling, like sports betting, is 21. Why is sports betting different than like buying lottery tickets? No idea. But that's the one difference, is in NC, you can't sports bet until you're 21. Come on, you gotta let all these degenerate gamblers lose all their money on betting on the NFL draft. First, I still can't believe people do that. Or NFL preseason, that's the worst. Like, people, that's the worst, yeah. 1st and 10 for the Roughnecks here at about the 30-yard line. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, running back to the left as well. No receiver to the wide left, though. They try to do a bit of a delayed play, but the Brahmas just absolutely bum rushed through the offensive line to get about a 4-yard loss on the rush. Looked like they were going to do some sort of read option potential throw here, but it just took way too long to develop. Man, bad blocking right there and great pass rush. 2nd and 14 for the Houston Roughnecks. 10.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter now. McClendon is in shotgun, 1 man to his left. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Ball is snapped. Looks to the left, throws it, and it is going to be caught. And he might get the first down. Chisholm might be about half-yard short, but he might have gotten it. UFL Fox theme stole the NFL theme. I believe they use that theme for pretty much like everything. If it's the theme I'm thinking of. I know they use it for a lot of things I didn't really realize until I thought about it, but that's if it's the one I'm thinking of. That's fine. The NFL steals a ton of ideas from the UFL. Man, what a play right there by the Roughnecks. Again, McClendon has been such a massive upgrade over the previous 2, and that's no offense to Nolan Henderson. All offense in the world to Anthony Brown. Love to see it. Kiki Chisholm, gotta love seeing that. 3rd and 1 for the Roughnecks. They did call it a bit short. They do run it, and he gets the first down, then some. Gets to the 10-yard line, still on his feet, the 5. Touchdown! Merritt gets the touchdown. It is 18-0 Houston over San Antonio. Great rush right there. Kirk Merritt with the 21-yard rushing touchdown. This has been a great performance by the ground game for the Roughnecks so far. Just consistently being just solid. They may get one play broken up, but it's been around. MLB has their own theme. Not too shocked at that, but I don't watch enough Fox baseball to actually do it now. Look at that. It is technically over now. Yeah, I mean, if they get an extra point here, it makes it a 3-score game. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they decide to go for. They're going for 1. I know a lot of people might want to go for 2, but this is the correct decision. You make this, it is a 3-score game. Because even though getting 2 touchdowns and 2 3-point conversions is really hard to do, it's still possible. This makes it a 3-score game. I do like the decision to go for 1 here for Houston. 1 receiver to his left, 3 to his right. Motions Hall from the right to the left, motion them back to the right. Ball is snapped, looks to his right to throw. Quick throws, it is going to be incomplete. No flag. So it is still technically a 2-score game, though it's going to be a very tough 2-score game. Touchdown. Yeah, Mo is definitely happy seeing the Roughnecks get another W here to try and keep their playoff hopes alive. Well, this game is over. Haha, next RDF team stomping H-Town. What a game so far, man. Just a blowout right now. You know, while we're in commercial break, yesterday I went to my first card show in probably about like 5 months or something. I hadn't gone in a while, and man, it's so much worse than it used to be. Like, it was a overall card show, and it was almost entirely just Pokemon cards. And the issue isn't that; it's that like about 3 tables. If you go to 3 tables, right, 2 of them have like the exact same stock. It's like the exact same thing. So there's like nothing there. It was a rough one. Worst show I've been to probably ever. It was bad. Glad I didn't go to today, obviously, but it wasn't good. I got 1 thing the entire day there. Rough one. Now is where I secretly hopes SA makes a comeback. Still loses though for ratings' sake. Hey, isn't that the best way to be a UFL fan? Hope that the ratings are good by making games close, but your team still ends up winning. Lakers are up over the Timberwolves right now. Hurricanes are still up. Did Slavin have both goals or just one? Okay, Svech got one. Yes, sir. We love when Svech scores a goal, especially because he didn't do enough this year. Love to see that. Wow, he only had... oh, that's the playoffs. I thought that was in this season. I was like, man, that was so bad this season. Even this season, he had 48 points. He played 70. He played more games this season than he did the previous two, yet he barely had more points than last year. That's not good. Yeah, I see what people are saying. He still had a lot of goals compared to what he normally does. He hit his 20 quota, but... yeah. SA ain't gonna do it. Looks like the Gamblers, the first time they beat every Texas team they look if they keep up. How did SA beat DC? That hype around Pardee, not having a ton of stuff going around, like not fully knowing what's going on. Yeah. DC was bound to lose the game. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought the upset was really easy to call. I mean, that's why I picked that one. Like, I know a couple people, you know, mainly Ducky, picked the Showboats to pull off the upset, but I thought San Antonio was going to get the W last week. It just looked like San Antonio was trending up and DC was down at the same time. That's why in this game, I thought DC was going to beat Arlington, which I was shocked to see was considered like a bit of a hot take. It seemed most people thought Arlington was going to win. I thought DC was going to win because I was like, man, DC has to come back from that game last week. Arlington had a very sketchy win against St. Louis, and that's what happened. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any team finish with just 2 losses. I think every team's going to have at least 3. I'd be pretty shocked if we see a team with only 2 losses, honestly. So let's see what the Brahmas can do here. They need to score a touchdown. I mean, like, it's going to sound like a broken record, but I mean, when you're down by two scores and those 2 scores also need 3-point conversions, you need a touchdown. Monstang threw a bad interception. Take some accountability. That's a good decision. That was a bad interception. That was one you can't take. That was almost as bad as Perkins throwing that pick 6 in field goal range against the Brahmas a couple weeks ago. Yeah, 9.5 minutes left in the third quarter. San Antonio needed that TD back in the first quarter. Well, they definitely did. It really sucks they threw that bad interception. Returns up to the 15, the 20, the 25. Makes a couple cuts. He's still on his feet. He's still rolling to his right. He might be able to break something here. Tries to cut the middle. He's able to break a tackle, but falls down in doing so. Gets to the 30-yard line. If he was a bit faster, he could have gotten a touchdown there. But still a very solid play right there. Let's see what the Brahmas can do here. I think my cat might be trying to come in here. I'm going to not let her in. 1st and 10 for the Brahmas here. At about the 30-yard line. Let's see if they can do something. And like I said before, I think Kellen Mond basically has this drive to do something, or else you legit should bench him. First and 10. Fake the handoff, throw it over to the right. It's caught, gets to about the 40. Ooh, incomplete. Bad drop by Kirkland. There's some extracurricular activities. That should be unnecessary roughness on the Roughnecks right there. That was like a lot of stuff. While they're not calling any sort of flag there, I'm kind of shocked. Definitely shocked at that one. Yeah, Kirkland needed to catch that one. I would hope he does a championship game because in theory you have your best guys doing it. So I would imagine Tessitore does call that one. Ooh, that's a closed-fisted punch. That could get Kirkland ejected right there. Wasn't to the head, but we'll see. In shotgun. Ball is snapped. Handed off. And it's about a 2-yard loss. Third and long for the Brahmas now. When I was watching that game last night, man, Joe lit me up and had me hyped. Hey, you gotta love that guy. That's some of that wrestling stuff coming out. You know, him doing the wrestling stuff, trying to get people hyped. You love to see it. 3rd and 14 for the Brahmas. Motioning and running back to the left. Ball is snapped. Throwing a screen pass. Gets to the 30 and gets out of bounds. I did watch the AAF. I love that league. Hate that it didn't stick around. Terrible play call. I always hate doing screen passes on a play like that. Like, you need a first down. You're down 18 points. Like, I'm not a fan of that. Like, I know it worked against them, week 1, but yeah. Earlier when I was talking about how the Roughnecks almost had triple the yardage total of the Brahmas? They have 4 times the amount of yardage now. That's insane. Betting on. I watched the AAF, but I saw that league wasn't going to last very quickly, especially with how the finances was. Return is up to about the 34-yard line and gets tackled, or about the 32-yard line. No flags. This is definitely going to become a chippy game. They don't throw any flags here. Yeah, because, you had the issue mainly with, immediately needing to get financial support from Dundon. When that happened, it was, pretty clear, man, you guys are kind of screwed. Yeah, I view it that the modern era started with the AAF, and then the ultra-modern era started with the USL. No, the first season they get finished in, post-2001 XFL was the 2022 USFL. The AAF got close to the playoffs, but didn't quite make it. I'll be right back. I need something to eat. I'm gonna go get a Jolly Rancher. And a cat. I also got a cat with me. Yeah, it's insane. That's why it was such a big deal when the USFL played their championship game. It was because the XFL wasn't able to get a full season. The AF wasn't able to get a full season. And the USFL was able to do it. Then the XFL came back and got a full season. That's why it was so crazy to see. I was excited to go to the Salt Lake Stallions, where San Antonio game wasn't able to. San Antonio really wants that high draft pick. Gotta win the Tank Bowl. Yeah, I wish there was an AAF team close, or that they would bring back one of those teams. The uniforms they had, just the aura of that league was just great. I know everybody loves the 2020 XFL. I preferred the 2019 AAF. I just thought it was great. It would be cool to see a lot of those teams for sure. This is pretty. This is one of my 2 cats. This is the old cat. I also have a kitten that we recently got. It's 6 months old, who is in the other room sleeping right now. This one is about we don't know how old she is exactly. Just don't remember. But she's roughly 14 or 15 years old. San Antonio Commanders are the AF version of the Battlehawks. Huge crowds. People love that team. Shame they weren't able to stick around because of the AF, going under. Pretty, stop moving. Just stay here. Yeah, she got a little bit of a spiky haircut right now because he gave her some flea medicine. So, it's just kind of stuck there, but yeah. I know she was trying to come in earlier, so I just brought her in here. I think she's going to go to her little chair now. She's got a little chair in the side of this room. There's a little blanket on it she always goes on. So that's where she's going to go, right there. They're doing the audio blitz thing. Remember, this was something that was really cool back in the USFL when they brought that in 2022. Where it's literally just keeping up with, the drive audio. So yeah. Run up the middle for about a 1-yard game. Yeah, she's about 15-ish. We always forget exactly what year we got her. It's she's within a 3-year gap. Odds are she's 14 or 15 at this point. Second and 8 for the Roughnecks here. Again, any score basically makes this game over. Ball snap, fake the handoff throw. That is the first real bad throw by McClendon. Just completely missed the throw on Hall. Then Hall took a big hit on the side right there, too. Might be a flag here, it looks like, or they might be looking at Hall, because, again, he got hit really hard in that one. Getting some treatment on this right there. He's down. That's not good. That looked borderline like a Greg Williams type of, you know, scandal type of hit right there. That was a bounty gate kind of play. I mean, he got just lit up. I'm shocked they haven't shown a replay yet. I get we're in the, you know, just showing the audio of the game, but they should show a replay here to see what that was exactly. He's back up walking to the sideline. He still seems pretty pissed right now. Ooh, that does look like it might have been helmet to helmet. That angle doesn't show if it hit his chest then his head, but it definitely is at least a little helmet to helmet. A better angle will see if that should be a penalty. 3rd and 8 for the Roughnecks, though. Third and 8. Can the Roughnecks do it here? McClendon is in shotgun. 2 receivers to his left. Now 3 after the motioning one of them. 1 receiver to his right, running back to his left. Ball is snap. He's going to roll out to his left. He's going to throw it a bit deep, and it's going to be his sideline, but it is going to be incomplete. Will the AAF and XFL merge if they complete a full season? I wouldn't have been shocked because of where the teams are, but I wouldn't have been too shocked if they did, honestly. Big stop for the Roughnecks, for the Brahmas right there. They needed to get that one. Massive stop. I will say, she's pretty is starting to shed her winter coat now. It ain't good. So much hair everywhere. 4th and 8 for the Roughnecks, who are going to be punting this ball away. Again, it is 18-0, Houston over San Antonio. Punt is up. Return at about the 20-yard line. 25-yard line. Tackle at about the 27-yard line. No, Beat okay. Let's see what's going on Twitter space again. While we go to commercial break again. Dude, again, prank calls to these guys are so, like, it's just, oh my god. Like, this happens every year because it's Shedeur Sanders. ESPN is going to milk this and act like it's the biggest thing ever. It's like, come on, man, stop. Svetch got a second goal. Let's go. Pass is thrown by Mond over the middle of the field. It is incomplete. Threw it a bit too far back. Incomplete pass there. The first time the Roughnecks punter was on the field, what a game for the Reg. It's been insane for them. I mean, the ground game has been the most... Like, I love McClendon. The ground game being as solid as it's been is the biggest shocker of the day. It's been a very solid unit for the Roughnecks. That's been a huge help for them. Run up the middle by McFarland. Keeps moving his legs, but only ends up gaining about, like, 3 yards on the play. Mond is benched. Garantano is in the game. The Garantano revenge game. Insane. I didn't even notice it was different, bro. It's still the same quarterback not making plays in my thoughts. I didn't even realize it. Yeah, and Garantano is a guy that I think most of us did not expect to stick around after what he did last year. Maybe he does something here. Let's see. In shotgun, 1 man to his left, 2 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Ball is snapped. Looks over to his left. Gonna throw him a bit of a deep pass. It is incomplete. That is on the receiver and the DB making a great play, but that was a shockingly good throw by Garantano, but just wasn't caught. Incomplete pass. They're going to be forced to punt. Sexton, of course, had the huge punt return last week, but didn't get there. Ex-Roughnecks legend. Legend, I don't know if we call Garantano a legend. Not for the right ways, that is. Fourth and 5 now for the Brahmas. Time to punt it again. Punt is up. Going to be it's going to bounce. Takes a nice San Antonio bounce. It's muffed! Oh, but the Roughnecks do get it. The Roughnecks almost made a critical error. They're trying to get it. But Keys is able to get it just quick enough. Dodge a massive bullet there. What a QB room. Going from Kellen Mond to Jarrett Garantano. Can't get much worse than that. First and 10 for the Roughnecks. Let's see what McClendon can do. What, you talking about how they did the great thing where they just kind of throw the ball and have the guys run for it and it caused concussions? I thought that was hilarious. It's insane they did that. Merritt is still on his feet. It looked like he would have been tackled about 4 times, but ends up losing 4 yards. If he would have just gone down when he got tackled initially, it would have only been a 1 yard loss. Again, tried to do something, but ended up losing a couple more extra yards. And now I'm covered in her hair. Yeah, this time of the year is when the shedding really starts, and like she'll just be sitting somewhere and walking. There's a ton of hair there. Throw a pass to the left, and he trips. Keys trips, but gets to about the 20-yard line. It's going to be now about a 3rd and 5 play for the Roughnecks. The GOAT, Kellen Mond, will not be benched for long. Yeah, especially Garantano doesn't do too much. Again, that was a great throw that just wasn't caught, but he's got to do something. 2-1 time of possession is insane. This has been just pure domination. So far, this is the most dominating game on the season. Ball is snapped. McClendon throws to the left. It is bounced, and it is intercepted. The Brahmas get it at the 20-yard line. Oh, man. That's a huge break for the Brahmas. It ricochets, and it just gets caught by the safety for the interception. That is insane. Let's see this replay. It's not a great throw, but that should not have been an interception, obviously. It just got bounced in the air, got picked off. How about that? Again, the Brahmas have to score. They cannot throw another interception here. Let's see what they do here. Garantano is still in at quarterback. Motions the running back to the left. Ball is snapped, and it's going to be a QB draw. Runs up the middle, gets about 3 yards on the carry. Going to be about 2nd and 7 here. Yep, they're calling it a 4-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd and 6. Boo. Yeah, it's insane that just happened. If the Brahmas throw a picker, go 3 and out here, they're going to get shut out. Well, I mean, you go 3 and out here, they're going to kick a field goal. But yeah, another QB draw. Runs to the left, gets about 4 yards on the play. Bold decision to do back-to-back QB draws, but hey, if it works, it works. Going to be about 3rd and 2 now for the Brahmas. Don't put that on my next mic. Oh my gosh. 3rd and 2 for the Brahmas. Under 2 minutes left in the quarter. Ball is snapped. Garantano looks to the left. Throws it over the middle. It's caught, but it's not going to be a first down. They are 0-6 on 3rd down now, I believe, on the day, which is just insanely bad. Calling it for a field goal. Lost yardage, forced to kick a field goal. I believe D is still out right now, though. So he is not the kicker. Close game, good ratings. Want next to get W. Yeah, no destroying still. But the Brahmas are kicking a field goal. Makes it a 15-point game. Still 2-score. Doesn't change that, but makes it an easier 2-score game when it comes to extra points. Kick is up. Oh, he almost missed that. He almost missed that short kick, but he did end up getting it. So it is 18-3 with 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Freddie Anderson got hurt for the Canes. That's not good. Not good, not good. Let me see trending. Is Fetch trending? He better be after getting that second goal. He's not. Ain't no way. 18-3. That's insane. What a game. What happened to Destroyer? Okay. What a classic moment for the announcers. And that was Kellen Mond. It would have been a touchdown. It's crazy how close that field goal is being missed. It really is. Destroyer classic. Return is up to about the 35 and the 40-yard line. Huge return for Houston. Again, we're going to head into the fourth quarter after about one more play. Houston will be up 15 points heading into the fourth quarter. They're down to 2 timeouts. They did have to waste one of them a bit earlier in the third quarter. Debatably shouldn't have. I don't think they should have used it there. Should have just taken the penalty, but it is what it is. So, yeah. Nice return for sure. Houston's now minus 15.5 in the live line. That's absolutely diabolical. 1st and 10 for the Roughnecks. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Rolls out to his right. And he gets tackled just past the line of scrimmage. It's going to be about a 1-yard gain. Destroyer injured again. Yeah, he got... I don't remember exactly what it was, but he did get hurt. Something. And I think he's probably going to be out another week or two. I don't think he was put on IR, but he's just kind of injured. Kind of like Danny Etling. Like, it was expected to be a couple weeks, but not like a, season-ending. Yeah. Yeah, the NFL basically took it, but then tweaked it and made it worse because they kind of made it to where touchbacks weren't as good or something like that. They changed, like, one part of it to make it a worse version of it, which is what was really aggravating. Just definitely weird, but yeah. 3 new posts. New Jersey scores again. Bruh. Curtis Johnson. Timo Meyer is trending, but Fetch isn't. So we're just BSing. Trending, and the Knicks are still number 1 trending, bro. The Knicks. Unbelievable. Yeah, I know a lot of NFL fans aren't a fan of it, but I mean, they're NFL fans. Like, dude, the old kickoff was the best, and then they changed it because of the whole health and safety stuff. I don't know. It's just, it's what it is. They make a lot of bad moves. The hip drop tackle ban was, like, for no real reason. Like, dude, so what? It's football. Like, I hate how people act like getting hurt in football is, like, supposed to be shocking. Like, dude, you're playing a physical sport. Like, you're gonna get hurt. You shouldn't have to change every rule to make it about safety. Because if you get rid of the whole point of the game, it's like you're not really playing football. Like, the joke about it becoming flag football gets truer every year. When you actually have a flag football Pro Bowl, like, come on. Come on. That's bad. It's wild how McClendon was the third man. Dude's really showing a lot of potential. He's great football. It's like I've been trying to say ever since last season. Like, last season, week 8, McClendon should have been the full-time starter for DC. Instead, they kept playing Teamu. McClendon barely got one shot when Teamu got hurt. He got completely effed over there. And I was glad he got picked up by a team, but it sucked that he was QB3. He got to show what he can do, and guess what? He's been great. Yes, he threw an interception, but that wasn't like an awful interception. It was just kind of a freak one. Wasn't a great throw, but shouldn't have been picked off kind of throw, but yeah. That's why I like the USFL kickoff, because the USFL kickoff was like the old one, but it changed it to make it still safer. To where if I'm going to be stuck using either the XFL or USFL one, I would have rather had the USFL one. But changing it, and the reason they did, you know why. Thanks for having a black screen on my thing, ESPN Plus. I'm so glad that this site is so good. Dude, ESPN Plus is not a fan of it. So whack how it works. Trying to put the wrong game on now. Thank you. There we go. ESPN Plus, man. Especially my phone. I don't know what it is with my phone, but it just doesn't work with it. Never has. It probably never will. Buffering on my computer, too. Let's go. I love when I can't watch the game perfectly. Well, while it's loading, let's go back to see if we get any more announcements on the Twitter space. No. There, will that work? There we go. 2nd and 9 for the Roughnecks. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. Rolls out, throws it over to the right. It gets a bit tipped, and it is going to be incomplete. It was towards the sideline. Almost was it, but didn't end up getting it. But still a very solid attempt. Going to be 3rd and 9 now for the Roughnecks. The Brahmas might be able to get this ball back and have another shot at trying to score something, but we'll see. 3rd and 9. The AAF non-kickoff rule was boring. I honestly I don't remember the non-kickoff rule. Like, the rules from the AAF, I don't remember most of them just because it's been, like, so long. I mean, it's been, like, 6 years. But I remember it was something weird for sure. 3rd and 9 for the Roughnecks. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 1 running back to the right in the backfield with McClendon. Ball is snapped, looks to the left, looks over the middle of the field, throws it to the RB, who gets to the 45 and tries to make it to the 50, but gets tackled out of bounds about 2 yards shy of the first down marker. It hasn't had very much time with a decent special team scheme. Make it interesting. Dallas to the leg of everyone with the built-in reverses. The biggest issue with it is the fact that they're not putting the kickers where they should. The kickers need to be moved back instead of changing all these other things. Especially in the NFL when you have kickers with powerful legs. Like, the reason the USFL kickoff was so good was because it rewarded a powerful kicker. Because touchbacks were a good thing to get. They were just very hard to get. So, that's what I would say. That's why I like the USFL one. Because you still had touchbacks, but they were hard to get. And that made it to where if you had a good kicker, it mattered even more. The Roughnecks are punting this on 4th and 1. The punt is up. They do get it off. And it gets to the 5-yard line. Return is up to the 10. Makes a couple of moves, but he gets tackled at the 10. This is going to have to be a very long drive for the Brahmas. And they're going to have to go somewhat quick. You have to score at least twice, but you can do the 4th and 12 to get the ball back. We'll see. Gave that New Jersey General a gig in the NFL. Good old Cavante Turpin. Doing what he does in the NFL. Getting that contract. Getting like that huge contract for like a special team returner kind of guy. It was insane. I believe that's what it was. He got like the record for like a pure like returner. He got like the biggest contract ever or something like that. 1st and 10 for the Brahmas. 1 man to his right in the backfield. 2 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Ball is snapped. Quick throws it out to the right. Caught for a screen pass. Gets about 5 yards and then gets tackled for about a 6.5, 7-yard gain for the Brahmas. It is still Jarrett Garantano in at quarterback. No Kellen Mond. Got to do this a bit quicker. Again, we got about 13 minutes left in the game and they're down by 15, which is, of course, a 2-score game. 2nd and 3. Ball is snapped. Hand it off, fakes it, runs to the right, gets to the 25, gets to the 30, slides at about the 33-yard line. Massive gain for Jarrett Garantano. That was a great play. Someone argued that might be his best play in spring football history. Great play, though, by Garantano. Held that ball, faked at the defense, got a huge gain. Number 2 literally fully tackled him and didn't even realize he didn't have the ball. That was great. Ball is snapped. Fakes the quick throw. Runs up. He is going to be tackled. That might be about a yard gain with forward progress. So that might be a bit less, but overall, good play by the Roughnecks defense there. 12.5 minutes left. My guess 10 to 11K. I honestly have no clue what it could be, but I will say this game is going pretty fast so far. I mean, it's only 5:15. The other game took a long time to finish. That game didn't end till like, about like 20-ish minutes after it normally does, but this game might end like 20 minutes earlier. 2nd and 10 for the Brahmas. Ball is snapped. Looks to his left. Throws the quick little check down. Gets about 2 yards on the play. Yeah, 2-yard gain, going to be 3rd down. Again, you're in borderline 4-down territory. If you're within 5 yards, it's arguable that you should go for it because of the fact of how much time is left. If Houston is able to kill a lot of clock on their next drive, it can really hurt the Brahmas. The Brahmas are 0 of 6 on 3rd down. That is a horrid stat line. Let's see if they can actually get something here on 3rd and 8. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, 1 running back to the left. Ball is snapped. Looks over the middle of the field, throws it. It is a incomplete. It's like he tried to throw it to somebody and ended up throwing it to nobody in between 4 people. 4th and 8. In this scenario, you might just have to punt it, especially with where you are in the field. If you don't get a 1st down, you basically give the Roughnecks the ball in field goal range, making it back to an 18-point game if they make it. So, yeah, I would punt it here. It sucks that you have to, but because you didn't gain anything on that last play, I think you have to punt it here. And they are going to be punting it. They spread throughout the stadium. DC never looks 12K. That is true. Punt is up. It is going to be bounced inbounds, and he gets it in the end zone. Gets to the 5, he gets tackled. It's going to be at the 7-yard line. Incredible punt and play by the Brahmas there. Oh yeah, I like the punt because if you go for it there and don't get it, and the Roughnecks score a field goal, it's back to being an 18-point game, meaning that field goal was for nothing. Whereas if you punt it here and you get a quick stop, and you can play the field position battle, you might be able to get the ball back at like the 40 or even like the 45-yard line. So then you get it back a little bit closer than where you were, just a little bit, but a little bit. I don't know. I'm fine with them punting it there. If it was within 5 yards, I would have gone for it. But at that scenario, I think punting it was the correct call. Let's see. Anything new on Twitter? No, just some more basic stuff right there. Go over here. El Clasico. Dude, if Madrid somehow wins that game, that would be huge. We might actually have a shot at winning a trophy. But it was still only 9K. The Arlington crowd looked pretty solid for sure. You would think that you should go all in now. It's now or never. However you go for it, you get it. Then you're closer to scoring. If you're worried about losing this game, say they already did the first half. That's why I said, if you were within 5 yards, I would have for sure gone for it. But because you had to get 8 yards on it, it's just one of those scenarios where you have to get a significant gain to get that 1st down. And it's the risk-reward is just not fully there because in that point of the field, it's not like you're in no man's land at like the 50-ish yard line because you're still back in essentially field goal territory for Houston. If you were to fail, let's say get sacked, you automatically give them a field goal. And if this game goes back to being 18 points, it's over. The odds of you getting 2 touchdowns and 2 3-point conversions back-to-back is just so low. So if you punt it here and your defense makes a good stop, you're fine. Because if your defense doesn't get a good stop, then it means you probably weren't going to get a good stop anyway in the next drive. So it's just kind of, making the inevitable happen sooner. But if you do get a stop, you get the ball back, you're able to score, it's a different story. Because 5 yards is a pretty big difference. Like 4 to 6 yards, I mean, it's only 2 yards, but it's like going from 2 to 5. Some aspects, it's very short. But some aspects, not as much. We'll have to see what the Brahmas defense can do. They made a couple of big stops. The Roughnecks haven't looked as good on this side, like this part, but we'll see. Commercial break. We'll be right back. I hate these things from ESPN. Especially in UFC events. It happens all the time. Interviewing Brad Wing right now. I get that completely, but if you're San Antonio 1-3 season, basically over, the odds of SA making the playoffs on the XO side this year is insanely low at this point. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of they got kind of unlucky with where they were stuck at on the side of the field. That's just how I view it. It's just that area with that range of how far they had to go is what really hurt them. But if they had gone for it, I wouldn't have been fully against it. But especially with how good a punt that they got, if they can get a 3-and-out here for Houston, odds are they might get the ball back with the return at about the 50-yard line. So we'll see. Interviewing Anthony Brown on the sideline right now, the backup QB. Anthony Brown, man, insane. Everybody was so happy he got benched, and it's so sad if you're him, though. 11 minutes left in the game. Houston is at their 5-yard line. Ball is snapped. They fake the handoff. Quick throw to the right. It is caught for about a 7-yard gain. Very, very solid game for the Roughnecks on first down, getting them out of that really sketchy within 5-yard area. Again, San Antonio needs to get a stop ASAP. Let's see if they can pull it off. And Houston they shouldn't call a play and actually they shouldn't snap the ball until there's less than 5 seconds left in the play clock. Eat up as much clock as possible. Not a fan of this. Looks like they might snap it a bit early. They do. Not a fan of that. Hand it off, run up the middle for about a 2-yard gain. Not a huge fan of that. You need to just try and get this clock killed as much as possible. Yeah. Roughnecks win will make it interesting. You got a 2-win team. You got a couple of 3-win teams. Houston all of a sudden is like a game behind, which is crazy to think about, but it will be insane to see that happen. 3rd and 1 for the Houston Roughnecks here. Under 10 minutes to play now in the game. One man to his right in the backfield with him. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ball is snapped. They hand it off, and they may have just barely gotten the first down there. I have no idea what kind of ground the guys are in the UFL. I'm not, but I've talked to a lot of people. Birmingham especially is disappointing. From what I've heard, people in Birmingham, there's like very few overall marketing aside from like some sort of like billboards. St. Louis is the best overall. They definitely do the most marketing of every team. Aside from that, I can't say for sure about really any other place. 1st and 10 for the Roughnecks. Yep, first down. Molly, you definitely loving this one. You guys got to keep doing these ones here. Let's see what you can do here. 1st and 10, shotgun play. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, running back to the left. Ball is snapped. Fake the handoff. McClendon makes a juke, makes a guy miss, ends up gaining about maybe like a yard there. Not insane, not terrible. Second and 8 now for the Roughnecks. Again, there's now under 9 minutes left. They just got to keep milking this clock. They've done a great job this game, just dominating the time possession. Just keep doing it. Keep churning that clock. Try and make this as hard for San Antonio to win as possible. 18-3 is still the score. 2nd and 8 for the Roughnecks in shotgun. 2 receivers on both sides of the ball. Ball is snapped. McClendon quick throws it to his right. It is a bit of not a great catch or great throw, but they still gain about 2 yards. They're going to be about 3rd and 6. Current Roughneck legend. I know it's a matter of getting the rights to those teams. I think a couple of them might be fully available, but it's all about the trademarks and all that. Because even if they're like haven't been used, somebody might have them. That's pretty much all it comes down to. 3rd and 6 for the Roughnecks. In shotgun, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back to the right. Ball is snapped, looks over to his right. Throws it deep, going for the first down. It is incomplete. It was in both his hands, but he was not able to get it right there. To the OG UFL teams, because I don't remember that one. But if they did, then they could, but I don't know for sure. Because, I mean, the UFL trademark itself is different than, like, the Ottawa Nighthawks trademark in that way. But, yeah. I know attendance is important. I wonder how much money the ads get on TV to make up the attendance issue. Where TV matters more. Like, when it comes to money, TV matters more than attendance for this league. Especially all the deals they have. I mean, like, all the sponsorships they have. The TV matters the most than the attendance. Return is up to the 40, up to the 45, up to the 50. Gets to about the 44 or the 45 in Houston territory. That's the one reason why you do that. punt earlier. Now you're getting the ball in very solid field position. But again, they have to score something with about 7 minutes left on the game. Still no news on the attendance. We'll probably see that in a few minutes. Again, this game's been going by really fast, which is insane how fast it's going, but yeah. People going 0-4 predictions. I would say I'm one of them, but you know what? I'll get one game right this week. I correctly predicted DC getting the win. That's about the only one I got right. It's very important for the viewers watching at home. Empty stadiums. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest issue I have with games that are in places where, like, Memphis, where they only do one side. Like, the reason, like, a game in Michigan or in DC just looks so much better isn't because of the fact there's all the people there. It's because they're spread out. Because if you have one half of the stadium and that's all the people are, and it's not full, it looks even worse than just being like a bunch of empty seats around the whole place. That's what I hate about Birmingham and Memphis. And I get Memphis, part of it is because of the renovations, but like even before they were doing it, that's just what I would say about it. Ottawa Nighthawks would be sick to bring back for sure. I'd love to see them come back. Great logo, great name, great place. That'd be great. Is Max Duggan good? The determining game is next week, because we've had one game where he was awful, but the caveat is that it was his first game he got thrown in there. His second game, he was incredible. The caveat there is he didn't really have a lot of film on him, and he got time to play with the starters. If he plays well next week, then yes. If he plays poorly, then no. I know it's kind of like not an answer, but that's kind of the best answer you can give. With a quarterback like that, you have to have 3 games to really see how good they are. Because if you come in with how practice works, the starter gets most of the reps. QB2 gets just a few. So if he plays well next week, it shows that he is legitimately good. If he plays poorly, it's just one good game. I mean, like Quentin Dormady had one good game last year, and that's about it. I picked Memphis on the Labs. I also picked right for the Battlehawks, and I also picked DC. Something about Arlington seems off. I don't know. I think it's Perez. Like, he's still good, but he's not dominating. Like, last year he was insane, but this year he's just been very solid in a league full of not good quarterbacks in a sense. But again, we're seeing a lot of players step up this week, obviously. Kellen Mond was not one of them. Official attendance is 14-4. Let's look at last season. Last season's attendance, that is better than any game last year they had. That is better than any home game they had last season. Great number for San Antonio. 14-4. Their highest in 2024 championship game doesn't count. Their highest was 13,164. So that is their highest by far, or not by far, but that is their highest number they've had in the UFL. Awesome to see. Slight delayed handoff to McFarland, who gets about 5.5 yards on the carry. I picked Houston in this game because F the Brahmas, bruh. 7 minutes left in the game. 2nd and 5 for the Brahmas. Got to keep moving the ball. Got to try and score something here as quick as you can. One running back to him in his right. Ball is snapped. Quick throw to the left. It is incomplete. Intercepted on the bounce. It is still going up to the 40, the 50, the 45, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Pick 6, Houston. It is 24-3 after the pick 6 from the bad catch. But there is a flag. Ruling on the field is a pick 6 during the return. There is a penalty on the Brahmas, which will be enforced on the try, meaning Houston could go for 3 and get super good field position to do that. Insane sequence of events right there. Well, I'm glad San Antonio had one good week of attendance because this might hurt the rest of them. I mean, that's a penalty on the Brahmas on the return, which is going to affect this try. That is rough, what you see there. That was a rough pick 6 to give up right there. Brahmas are garbage. Yeah, the Brahmas are going right back down to 8 in the power rankings. They were up for about 1 week. Now they're back down. Party is not happy. Insane. Yeah, UFL side is going to be interesting. Houston is somehow one game behind the Panthers and Stallions. You know, not counting tiebreaks and all that. Just overall wins. That's insane. Ain't that the truth? The announcer just said no matter the quarterbacks, the result's been the same. That is true. Rough for San Antonio there. This is a 3-point try at the 2-yard line because of the penalty. If they get this, it is 27-3. Yeah, both conferences now you've got legitimately 3 teams fully in the thick of it, with one other team that's hanging on by a thread. Let's see if Houston can get this. This is at the 2-yard line and it's for 3 points. 5 wide formation. Ball is snapped. Quick throw. It is caught for the 3-point conversion. It is 27-3 Houston over San Antonio. Oh my goodness. How about that? That's insane. Absolutely insane. Man, what a game. Kellen Mond wouldn't have thrown that pick, bruh. Brahmas season is over. It pretty much is at this point. I love seeing the Brahmas fall miserably, bruh. Yeah, nice for the... I hope that's for the attendance, because that attendance is really nice to see, but man. Drill, baby, drill. The Roughnecks are somehow in the playoff race all of a sudden. And they're going to move up to like 6 in the power rankings. First game with 20-plus points this season. The best offense in the league, all because of that defense, baby. Came back to the Chad pick 6 in conversation. Yeah, I mean, this is bad for the Brahmas. They got their 2 good weeks, and then this happened. This was rough. Top 3 season now, a bottom 2 team. We have 3 best games this week and 1 blowout game. Ain't that the truth? You got the 3 best games of the season, then you have this one. Return us to the 20, the 30. There is a flag. Still going. Return us to about the 35-yard line. There is a flag. Again, this is now just kind of garbage time, stat padding. See if the Brahmas can put up some points. It might be. I don't remember for sure about 2024. Let me pull up some of those weeks real quick. That week, I mean, week 10 last year had a ton of close games. I mean, every game was we had 3 one-point games in week 10 last year, and that Arlington, DC game was a fun one. And the Birmingham, Michigan was a great game. Michigan Roughnecks was an incredible game. DC, Memphis, not really. That game kind of hurts that one. The Stallions, Roughnecks, Panthers, Showboats, Battlehawks, Defenders, Brahmas, Renegades. That was a good week. There's maybe 3 weeks last season that somewhat compete, but that's mainly just because this game is so bad compared to the other 3. So yeah, I don't know. This is a good game to watch. Where Garetano throws a little check down, and it can't even get a little check down screen to work. Oh, that's awful. Can't even get that to work is insane. 2nd and 10 for the Brahmas. What a rough game for them. When you're getting clapped by the Roughnecks defense, something went horribly wrong. 2nd and 10. Can they do anything here? Because of the penalty, they're getting the ball all the way back at the 17-yard line. Ball is snapped. Looks to his left to throw. Throws it. It is going to be caught to about the 20. The 25-yard line gets about the 26-yard line. This game is good for the Roughnecks. It is good for the Roughnecks. I mean, they're now just a game behind. Who have won 2 straight. Oh, my gosh. Is it 2 straight? I thought they won 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they lost last week. They won in week 3, so it's 2 out of 3 now. Yeah, I mean, if you eliminate their week 1 game, they haven't been terrible. They lost to Arlington by like 2 points. Even the game last week against Birmingham was a close one. Penalty on the defense, so the Brahmas get a bit of a break there. Brahmas offense, 0 of 7 on 3rd down is insane. 30% on the season is horrid. This is 3rd and 1. This is as free a first down on 3rd down as you can pretty much get. Ball is snapped, handed off, and they barely got it. They got a first down finally. Can't believe that. Roughnecks have also been the competent QB that works for their offense. I mean, people talk about how, you have to have a super dual threat quarterback. You don't have to. If they're an accurate quarterback that can get the job done like McClendon, who still can work, it's all. I did see the video about Samson Nakua. People are talking about whether or not he's going to get suspended and for how long. Will be interesting to see what happens there. Browns will probably have to rebuild. Hope the fan doesn't sue the league. First and 10 for the Brahmas. About 5.5 minutes left in the game. I mean, it's basically over, but, maybe we get some more points scored in this game by either team. Let's see. Not 14K for sure. Oh. I mean, I know, hey, there's probably people who didn't show up because of the fact they were 1-3, but yeah. Ball is snapped, looks to his left, throws a deep shot to the left. It is, incomplete. That was almost a touchdown bomb right there. Just not able to get it. The loss of Wade Phillips was rough. I would say that, but I don't even know if they get the win last week with Wade because, I mean, you lose A.J. Smith, you have your best game of the year, then you're without Wade Phillips, and then you end up getting the win. But this game is where you're seeing it happen on the defensive side. It's like your defense was holding up a little bit, but then fell off. Yeah, the attendance was 14K for this game, which is higher than any game the Brahmas had last season. So a great number for San Antonio, but sadly, not great. San Antonio calls a timeout here. That's good for tickets distributed. Yeah, I mean, that's the highest attendance of this week, not counting St. Louis, obviously, so that's huge to see. Overall attendance this week was pretty decent. Not incredible. I mean, you had a couple games that were slightly disappointing, but overall, this is a pretty decent week for attendance. This is the best number of the week, obviously, breaking the record in UFL, not counting XFL. UFL, that's the record for the Brahmas. Renegades still having a solid number. Fridays being okay, and even with St. Louis being a bit down from usual, it was still a 30K game, so really solid week. Not incredible, but okay. 2nd and 10 for the Brahmas with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. One running back to his right, 2 receivers on both sides, ball is snapped. Throws it to his left, another deep shot. It is going to be incomplete. Tried to make a one-handed catch, was not able to do it. It is going to be 3rd and 10 for the Brahmas now. What a game for the Brahmas. This is so ugly. They're just getting beat. This is even worse than the Memphis Panthers game 2 weeks ago. This is just a blowout. 3rd and 10. 4.5 minutes left, and the clock is going down. Garantano is in shotgun. Motions a running back to his left. Ball is snapped. Throws it to his right. It is caught. Makes a man miss. Gets to about the 30. Gets to about the 35-yard line. Tank blowout ball. Hopefully this will help Houston natives show up for some games. Houston for sure. Especially because now they're in the playoff race fully. Like, this ain't like they're kind of in it. They're in the race now. Somehow. We'll definitely see. It'll be interesting for sure. Ball is snapped. Garantano rolls out to the left. Throws it. It is incomplete. They do not get it. 3.5 minutes left. Game is basically fully over. How about that? Garantano upset in the sideline. Mon just there as well. Awful. Even when the game is over, they can't get any sort of garbage time scoring. That's what you hate to see for the Brahmas. Just some bad play by the O-line. Bad play overall. Just awful game for the Brahmas. They're easily in 8th place in the rankings for sure. Getting blown out, especially by a team not considered good, is embarrassing for sure. Handed off, rolls out to the left, gets about a yard on the play, maybe 2 yards. Yeah, I mean, especially after you got the huge upsetting against DC. I mean, it's just like you got the one. I mean, like I said, even with how bad they look today, they could easily come out next week and get a huge win. It's just insanely weird how this season's been. Like, top to bottom is a lot closer than the previous couple years. Is this worse than the 23 Brahmas? Not that team, bro. The Hines Ward Brahmas. I can't believe people thought he should have been the coach for the team after that season. Ball is snapped. Quick throw to the right. Gets tackled for basically nothing. That will be a great game now. Could have easily been the rank bowl. Yeah, the UFL Conference got another win, finally. Now they're at 3 wins on the season. You have to watch the watch back the bad game, but still great watch, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the 3 other games you got are great. I mean, you got 3 other incredible games to watch. It's incredible. Houston has the biggest fall off for attendance. You remember that big mock-up that the XFL built for the Roughnecks back in the day for hype fans. It was crazy how good their attendance was. Then, they did the stupid change where they didn't keep the Roughnecks, but they didn't keep the Gamblers. They tried to keep them both. Didn't work whatsoever. Moved them to Rice because of renovations. And it all just went bad. USFL needs wins. Ain't that the truth? They're getting this nice win for them. Roughnecks played like the XFL Roughnecks today. Yeah, that's true. Roughnecks to the championship. Okay. Should they extend practice if the league come back? I think they should get more practice early in the season. Yeah, I know we talked about it a bit earlier, but yeah, add like another week or 2 to training camp. I think they need to. 3rd and 11. XFL is good too, but they are not better. It's even in my mind. This season, I would say that they're pretty close, but I think DC and Arlington are just pretty clearly the 2 best teams. And at this point, I would say the Battlehawks slightly edge out Michigan or Birmingham. They hand it off, gets about 3 yards on the carry. USFL's only Saturday night's game away from even. Well, they were like 5-2. That would put it at like 4-3. Yeah, I mean, they are like that 1 game away, but the way I view it, I mean, it's like last year, right? Last year, people were trying to say that one conference is fully better when it was really that, the XFL teams kept dog walking the Stallion or the Showboats and Roughnecks, whereas the Panthers like swept the XFL aside from the Brahmas. But I would say this season, the single worst team through 5 weeks is the Brahmas. The 2 best teams so far are the Renegades and the Defenders. And then right now, I'd put the Battlehawks at 3. But the Battlehawks, Stallions, and Panthers, I wouldn't be shocked if you put them in any order. At this point, I would say the 1. Breakers, I would love to see the Breakers come back. Yeah, to justify the merge, ain't that the truth? I was joking around about it when the Maulers were still around, but technically the USL anyway. So yeah, give San Antonio an expansion team and erase the Brahmas, bruh. Oh no, power rankings, man. I still know there's going to be somebody trying to sneak a couple teams. Like, there's going to be somebody trying to sneak there's going to be one person who puts the Renegades at 1 and makes some bold excuse for why they should be 1 above the Defenders, even though they just lost to them. I know there's going to be somebody who puts the Battlehawks at like 5. I know there's going to be somebody who tries to put like the Stallions at like 3. I just know there's going to be some power rankings I see online that I'm just going to fully disagree with. I just got that feeling. Seeing the Breakers would be great. I would love to see the Breakers come back. Like, I would love to see the Dragons, not the Sea Dragons, the Dragons come back. But if I could bring back one team, it would be the Breakers. Have them play at the Shrine. A small stadium. have like a sellout crowd almost every week. If 10K would almost fill that stadium, get them play there. You had great TV ratings in New Orleans without a team there. It'd be awesome to see. Would love to see the Breakers return. If I could bring back one team, that's the team I bring back. Had more people in attendance. You know, I've talked about before, but the spring football schedule makers, like, yes, I get when you have competition, but there is no excuse to have a game start at 11 a.m. local time and be like, this is a good idea for attendance. I mean, the fact that Arlington and St. Louis keep getting screwed on that is insane. 11 a.m. start time. I'm telling you, after this year, the Sea Dragons and Breakers come back, would love to see it. Wow, it's already been a week since those were up, man. Time travels. I'd travel to the Shrine, make it happen. Like, dude, everybody talks about Yeoman Stadium. They always forget about the Shrine. Like, the league already, like, the USFL had already talked about the Shrine. Once that place is done, that would be a fantastic place for the Breakers to play at. A small place, not too many, you know, things going on there. Would be great to see. Would love that. Well, obviously I'm not doing a tier list for, like, this, for, like, random games like this one, but this would definitely be, like, a D tier game. Just not a good one. Yeah, the Sea Dragons, I didn't like. I didn't like the idea of adding on the C to the name. They should have just been the Dragons, the Seattle Dragons. That was great. But the Seattle Sea Dragons, bit too much. And the old logo, I think, was cooler. It had more character. 2 minutes left in the game, 4th and 6 for the Roughnecks. Yeah, I've done an 11 a.m. CT start in Memphis. Lots of great games next weekend. Everyone has something redeeming to offer. I want to go to a DC game either this year or next year. I might, because that would be fun to be part of the Beer Snake. I might do that sometime next year, because, I mean, that's the closest team to me, but yeah. Seattle Dragons selling an NCAA. Okay. Yeah, but Sea Dragons, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. 1st and 10 for the Brahmas. Except for this one, great games this weekend. True. I would say so far the 3 best games of the entire season were the previous 3 games we saw. Like, I know you might be able to make an argument for, like, the Brahmas Panthers and, like, another one, but I think those 3 games that we had this weekend were just incredible. Ball is snapped, handed off, rolls out to the right, gets about 3 yards on the ground. Let's hope next year they move the games around 3 p.m., 5 p.m., because knowing that, like, around the NBA is on the playoffs, DC at Michigan, hell of a game. Show up, Panthers fans. That's going to be a good one. Yeah, I think that some games, like, you know, with spring football, like, it's why I hate when people say they need to play in February as the start. No matter when you start, you're having to battle all these things. Just make times that are good for the people that live near there, at least. Passes thrown, caught out of bounds about 2 yards shy of the first end marker. Like, there's no excuse to have so many 11 a.m. Central Time games. Like, it's just wild. That's what I would say. Look at the standings. Memphis is one of those teams you want to get. It's wild that they said that. Well, I mean, the USFL Championship game. I don't know for sure. Let me see. Passes thrown over the middle. Almost intercepted. That should have been intercepted. Say it with me. That's why that guy's on defense. But I think so. I know DC, from what I heard, DC won't be able to host the XFL Championship game this year. But I believe Ford Field should be able to, but don't quote me on that. That's what I could say when it comes to all that. That should have been a pick. Yes, it should have. That was a pick right there. And it's a sack on... Oh, he gets away from the sack. Nope, he gets sacked. Yep. Yes, on the mark about the after Super Sartone logo. Yeah, I really don't get why so many people talk about it being, like, a great idea. Because, like, oh, but you avoid March Madness. But it's like, no, you don't. Like, yes, starting the season in March Madness sucks. We all agree. But the thing with the XFL TV ratings that hurt really bad was you started the season, had momentum, then, bam, March Madness hit, the ratings just plummeted. And then it was hard to fully rebound. Whereas at least if you start the season in the low point, you can pretty much only go up. So, like, if you start in late February, you still have to go against all these things. So remember, the XFL season ended still in, like, April, right? Or it was, like, early May or something. So you're still going against the NBA and NHL playoffs anyway. So it's like, what's the point of starting the season that early? Because people talk about making it easier to make it to the NFL. We've seen that with both the USFL and the UFL last year. That argument is total BS. The XFL in 2023 did not thoroughly dominate getting players to the NFL compared to the USFL or UFL. So that argument does not work. So the schedule the way it is fine. Ending when they end is good, especially because the NFL is probably going to eventually end during like President's Day weekend or whatever. So you're going to have to start in like late February, go up through all of March Madness and the NBA and NHL playoffs. Like, that's too much. And the Roughnecks kneel the ball out. That means that this game is over. The Roughnecks do pull off the win. I know, shocking. 27-3. They have won 2 of 3 games. Absolutely insane that they pulled it off. My weekly game picks this week. I know a lot of people seemed like it was really bad. Like, it looked, most people said it was bad, and this was bad for me. I picked San Antonio when they were favorites. And I picked the over, which did not happen. So I went 5 of 6 on this, or 5 of 12 this week. Not great. 5 of 12, but I at least got a 3 for 3. Yeah, bad week for me in picking scores. And I picked the winning team to have 27 points. I just picked the wrong team to have 27 points. Hate to see it. Oh, let's see. There's a statement. Before I end the stream, there's a statement about the thing. About the incident. UFL statement about investigation into incident between players and fan at conclusion of Michigan Panthers St. Louis game. The UFL issued the following statement about an incident that occurred. Statement is the UFL is aware of the incident that took place last evening at the conclusion of the Michigan Panthers versus St. Louis Battlehawks game in St. Louis. League officials are currently investigating the matter. Okay, so basically a whole lot of nothing. But they are acknowledging that it did happen. So, Nakua, your ass getting suspended. Like, no. The slap. Oh, he did slap him. I didn't see that initially. He straight up jumped to slap him right in the face. Dude took it like a champ, though, but he definitely getting some sort of suspension. That's for sure. 27-3 losses. Wild. I was betting that let's go Roughnecks to the championship, bro. We only beat 2 bad teams. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying. Yeah, if Sanders gets suspended, but he should probably for that one. I mean, he legit just hit him right in the head like, bruh. It's pretty hard to argue that he shouldn't be. That's what I would say, but I will say, this was the first tank ball of the season. This was a tank ball. Again, I will have a video up on this game later this week. And like I said, I'm probably going to do 2 weekly videos. I'm also going to do one ranking my top 5 MVP, basically my, 5 MVP favorites right now. So look out for those 2 videos this week. Again, if you enjoyed this stream, make sure to like this and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Think about becoming a community member to get team emojis, exclusive video every month, and a lot of stuff like that. Again, we'll be back for the next Friday night game, and I'll have a community hero poll. I know I haven't had a community hero poll for the games the past 2 weeks, but I should have one for this upcoming week. So be on the lookout for that, and as always, guys,